liar. Bersiap merangkai cita diri, bersama mengasah pikir dan nurani. Universitas liar, menata indahnya karya bersama. Universitas liar, menaraskan asa yang kau punya. Berjaya bersama Universitas liar. Selamat datang di Universitas liar, tempat kita berprestasi.
Introduce myself. My name is Amelia. I'm a student of the University of Ria, and today I will be the master of ceremony for today's event. Before we start our conference, I would like to read the procedure of fire evacuation in buildings. Langkah yang pertama, tetap tenang dan tidak panik. Langkah yang kedua, berusaha padamkan api dengan alat yang terdekat. Yang ketiga, berkumpul di area terbuka. Yang keempat, tidak menggunakan lift atau eskalator. Yang kelima, ikuti petunjuk dari petugas. Yang keenam, gunakan tangga darurat. Yang ketujuh, berjalan dengan tertib dan tetap tenang. Kedelapan, berjalan menuju tempat berkumpul. Kesembilan, melaporkan diri saat perhitungan orang. Dan yang terakhir, tetap berada di master point atau tempat berkumpul. Welcome to the International Conference on English Language and Linguistics in conjunction with the Indonesia-Japan International Interdisciplinary Studies. This conference is co-hosted by University of Pertiwi, Sekolah Bahasa Polri, Sekolah Tinggi Bahasa Asing IEC, Sekolah Tinggi Ilmu Tarbiyah Insan Kamil Bogor, University of Tanri Abeng, and Kelas Digital. And this conference also powered by I40. It is an honor for me to introduce and welcoming the guests. Associate Professor Dr. Siti Lidar Harinasari MPD, Director of the University of Ria, Professor Suyanto, Rector of the University of Tanri Abeng, Dr. Arif Nugroho MSc, Rector of the University of Indrapasta PGRI, Ali Haimani FTMM, the Head of the FTB Ajia, Muhasul Fasih MPD, the Head of the STBA IEC, Dr. Muhammad Rizal MPD, the Head of the Sekolah Tinggi Ilmu Tarbiyah Insan Kamil Bogor, Ismarita Ramayanti PhD, the Vice Rector of Academic Students Affairs and Public Relations at the University of Ria, Dr. Hasanuddin MM, as Rector of Operational and Collaboration of University of Ria, Majen TNI Purnawirawan Dr. Aklani Maza MA, the head of the Yayasan Lia, Dr. Arifa Diyati MSI, the Secretary of the Yayasan Lia, Dr. Sony Teguh Trilaksono MED MBA, Treasurer of the Yayasan Lia, Henry Mapesona MSc from Eka Sakti University, Professor Ismail WK PhD from Institut Agama Islam Negeri Sorong. And we are delighted to welcome all the participants. This theme is Using Languages, Empowering Entrepreneurs, Langtechpreneur Summit for Technology and Interdisciplinary Innovation. Our conference is organized by University of Ria. This conference is conducted by the collaboration with the Hoku University. University of Ria, formerly known as STB Alia, has just celebrated its 25th anniversary this month. To start our conference, we would like to invite you to stand up and sing Indonesian anthem, Indonesia Raya. Langsung the anthem, we will have a photo session, so we kindly ask all the guests to stand up and sing Indonesia Raya. Please rise as we sing Indonesia Raya.
Indonesia bersatu, hiduplah kampung, hiduplah negeri, bangsa berkumpul semuanya. Bangunlah jiwa, bangunlah perintah untuk Indonesia Raya. Indonesia Raya, merdeka, merdeka, tanahku negeriku yang ku cinta. Indonesia Raya, merdeka, merdeka, hiduplah Indonesia Raya. Indonesia Raya, merdeka, merdeka, tanahku negeriku yang ku cinta. Indonesia Raya, merdeka, merdeka, hiduplah Indonesia Raya.
It is time for the photo session. Please remain standing and we will take this special moment. You may now please be seated. Thank you. To begin our program, we will have a speech from Majen TNI Purnawirawan, Dr. Aklani Maza MA, the head of the Yayasan Lia.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yang terhormat Ibu Himatul Aliyah, SOS MSI, anggota Komisi 10 DPR RI, Rektor Universitas Lia. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, honorable speakers, esteemed colleagues, good morning and a very warm welcome to all of you. It is with great pleasure and pride that I stand before you today and officially open this international conference on English language and linguistics 2024, organized by the University of Lea in collaboration with Tohoku University, Japan, and hold in celebrating of the 25th anniversary of the University of Lea. This year's conference theme, Bridging Languages, Empower Entrepreneurs, Langtechpreneur Summit for Technology and Interdisciplinary Innovation, brings together scholars, innovators, and professionals from various fields, highlighting the increasingly important intersection of language, technology, and entrepreneurship. As we navigate through a rapidly evolving digital landscape, the power of language to connect, create opportunities, and drive innovation has never been more crucial. We are deeply honored to have Ibu Himatul Alia among us today, a distinguished figure whose contributions have inspired many. Her presence reinforces the global significance of this conference, where experts from around the world gather to exchange ideas and explore new frontiers in language technology and interdisciplinary studies. This conference marks a milestone for the University of Lea as we celebrate 25 years of excellence in education and research. It is a special moment to reflect on our journey, our growth, and the many collaborations that have enriched our academic community. Our partnership with Tohoku University, which we proudly highlight today, has been instrumental in fostering deeper ties between Indonesia and Japan, not only in academia, but in cultural and technological exchanges as well. As we look forward to engaging discussions and innovative ideas over the next few days, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to the organizers from both University of Lea and Tohoku University. Your dedication has made this event possible, and your efforts have created a platform where knowledge, collaboration, and creativity thrive. In addition to enriching presentations and workshops you will experience here, I am delighted to announce that the upcoming conference, a continuation of this event, will be hosted by Tohoku University in collaboration with the University of Lea in Sendai, Japan, in November 2024. We are excited for the journey ahead and look forward to further strengthening our partnerships and advancing our shared goals in technology, language, and innovation. I encourage all participants to take full advantage of this unique opportunity to network, learn, and collaborate. This conference is more than just an academic gathering. It is a celebration of innovation, a bridge across cultures, and a commitment to driving positive change in our fields. Once again, welcome to the International Conference on English Language and Linguistics 2024. And thank you for being part of this landmark event. Let us all contribute our best to make this conference a resounding success. Thank you. Arigato gozaimasu. Terima kasih banyak. Let the conference begin. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Dr. Pakani Maza, for your insightful remarks. We have the honor of welcoming our esteemed guest, Associate Professor Dr. Siti Yulidar Harunasari, MPD, Director of the University of Riyadh, who will officially open this conference. Professor Dr. Siti Yulidar, the floor is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning and warm greetings to everyone. It is a great honor and privilege to welcome you all to the International Conference on English Language and Linguistics, Icell 2024, in conjunction with Indonesian, Japan, International Interdisciplinary Studies, or IJIIS. This is a truly special occasion as it marks our first collaborative with Tohoku University, paving the way for future innovation and partnership. I would like to extend a special welcome to our honorary guest. This is Bapak Jenderal Akolani Maza, the Head of Foundation, and Ibu Luz Ismail from LIA Foundation. The presence Bapak and Ibu adds great significance to our event. We are particularly grateful to our main co-host, the Tohoku University, and especially to Professor Peter John Warner for his invaluable contribution to this collaboration. Your partnership has been crucial in shaping this conference, and I would also like to express our appreciation to our other co-hosts, Universitas Tanri Abeng, Universitas Pertiwi, Sekolah Tinggi Bahasa Asing IC, Sekolah Tinggi Ilmu Tarbiyah Insan Kamil, Sekolah Bahasa Lemdiklat Polri, kelas digital. And I also would like to welcome Bapak David Knowles yang sudah 30 tahun tinggal di Indonesia, and also Mr. Nigel Kilik tahun 95 sampai 97 ya, tapi bahasa Indonesia keren banget dan udah bisa bahasa Betawi katanya. Nanti jangan diajarin dengan ya, Nigel. Okay. Additionally, we extend our sincere thanks to our sponsor, I4K, for this generous support. And then to all our esteemed guests, keynote speakers, and participants, those present here and joining us online, I extend my heartfelt appreciation. I wish I could name everyone, but I'm constrained to prevent me from naming each individual. Please know that your participation is deeply valued. This year's conference theme, Bridging Languages, Empowering Entrepreneurs, Langtechpreneur Summit, Exploring Technology and Interdisciplinary Innovation, is both timely and relevant. This topic is important right now. We're looking at how language studies, new technologies, and business ideas can come together. We're not just seeing how language is changing in our digital world, but also how different fields working together can shape the future of global business. Ladies and gentlemen, yesterday evening, we started the first session of this conference with Professor Christian Corner from University of South Wales, United Kingdom. The session was held pada 11.30 sampai 20.30. It was heartwarming to see over 150 participants engaged via Zoom and YouTube. It gave us a good start for the rest of the conference. Ladies and gentlemen, Bapak dan Ibu, Puan dan Puan, kami saya belajar untuk berhenti. Dan teman-teman dari SIA. Our world is changing a lot. New technologies are making big differences in how we live and work. At the same time, people everywhere want to understand each other better, even when they come from different cultures. Sama seperti kita sekarang. This is where Langtechpreneur comes in. As we explore this concept, we would like to show how bringing language together, technology, and business skills can open up new ways to grow. These new ways can help both in schools and university, as well as in businesses around the world. At the University of Lea, we've always believed that language can connect different cultures, economies, and technologies. We work to bring different subjects together, helping our students and future professionals get ready to lead in a world that's becoming more global and digital. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the organizing team, our important speakers, and everyone who's come from far and far to join us. Your ideas will help us come up with new solutions as we move from Industry 4.0 to the new ideas of Industry 5.0. So it is with great pleasure that I now declare this conference open. I hope everyone will join in the talks and share ideas that will help shape the future of our fields that work together. Thank you again for being here, and I hope you will learn a lot and have a productive and enlightening conference. Thank you. Kasih. Arigato. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Professor Siti Lidera, for your warm speech. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now reached the main agenda of today's event. That is the speeches from our keynote speakers. These sessions will be moderated by Mr. Komara Suhendar, MGen and Appling. Mr. Komara Suhendar, the floor is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and the keynote speakers of today's conference. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name's Mara Swendar. It's great honor to be able to be a moderator on today's conference. Know that this conference involves a number, array of topics, including linguistics, literature, applied linguistics, education, visual communication design, digital business, informatics, information systems, technology, artificial intelligence, and digital literacy. This conference is called Icell, which stands for International Conference on English Language and Linguistics. Okay. The honorable the speakers. Let's say let's start the let's start the our first speaker. First of all, let me introduce the speakers for today's conference. First of all, there will be session from Professor Dr. Siti Yulibar Harunasari, MPD, from University of Lea, and Professor Dr. Sir John Warner. Okay, thank you for being here, Professor. And also, there will be another speaker from Sekolah Bahasa Polri, Pak Kombes Pol Bami Hernando. Okay. The next keynote speaker will be presented by Mr. Nigel Click, MBA. The last will be presented by Bapak Henry Mukesona, MSc. Oh, all right. Fine, yeah, okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's already 9. So we will start our first session coming from Professor Dr. Siti Yulibar Harunasari. She will present a topic related to language, technology, and entrepreneurship in higher education. So the Langtechpreneur approach at University of Lea. Okay. So the floor is yours too.
Okay, thank you. May I introduce you back to the audience?
Yeah,
You
sure.
introduce yourself already? Yeah, his name is Komara Suhender. I would like to introduce him because he was my student. And you went to you
Yeah,
or
for pursuing my master's degree in linguistics.
okay, so you have master's degree and general and applied linguistics.
Yeah,
Ladies and gentlemen, Komara Suhender.
thank you very much. Okay, so so today's we are going to talk about language, but in particular So language, technology, and entrepreneurship in higher education, Bu Leader. But first of all, let me try to remind for the speakers involved. So for each speaker, will be allotted 25 minutes. And for further discussion, so please kindly hold your questions if you have questioned, because the question will be discussed in the end of the session. It was around at 11. Okay, Bu Yulian, so
Okay, thank you, Komara. Aldin, bisa digeser sedikit, Kak, so I could see my presentation slide.
could please stay.
I don't know, David, kalau di sini bilangnya udah PW. How do you say that in English? Yeah. I don't want to move. Ya, karena bahasanya orang in my comfort zone. So let me sit here if it's okay with you. All right. So the title of my presentation is Langtechpreneurship, the future of higher education. Today we are going to talk about an exciting we're going to talk about something excited called Langtechpreneurship. And I believe if you search on Google, you won't find it yet. Because Langtechpreneur is a term that is created by University of Lea. We have technopreneur, languagepreneur. But perhaps this is the first time for some of you hear about Langtechpreneur. And going to discuss about Langtechpreneurship and how it is changing higher education. I would say this is also a new way of teaching that helps students to get ready for our fast changing global and digital world. Next slide, please. All right. As you can see here, I don't know. Ada yang lain? Maaf ya, kalau ibu-ibu itu biasanya gitu permintaannya banyak. Okay, in the next slide, the introduction, we're going to talk about the definition of Langtechpreneurship and the importance of Langtechpreneurship in today's global landscape. So as I said earlier, that Langtechpreneurship is a new idea that combines three important things. The first is being good with languages, understanding technology, and having an entrepreneurial mindset. In today's connected world, I believe that we all need these skills, especially when we refer to the World Economic Forum report. We could see that there are a lot of jobs that extinct, and then there are also a lot of jobs that emergence, and all nowadays job they need the three elements from Langtechpreneur: language skills, technology skill, also entrepreneurial mindset. Next slide, please. Hello. The convergence of language, technology, and entrepreneurship. Let's break it down. Can I see it? Can you move it a bit? Yes, sir. Yes. Okay. So there is a growing demand for interdisciplinary skills, and we can also see the importance of each component that I just mentioned: the language skills, technology, and entrepreneurship. Language skills, ladies and gentlemen, it helps us to talk to people from different cultures. And technology skills let us use computers and digital tools effectively. If we refer to there is a term digital immigrant. I think I'm classified to digital immigrant because I learned about digital technology from my children, and maybe the same thing was with some of you in this room. And then the third component is the entrepreneurial skills that help us see new opportunities and solve problems creatively. And there are some research that show that the combined approach of this language, technology, and entrepreneurial skills works well. For example, in a research in 2018, it is found that students who use both language and learning strategies and technology, they did better. They did better in school and they were more ready for jobs. Another study in 2020 showed that teaching entrepreneurial skills in universities helps create more new ideas and also economic growth. Next slide, please. Okay, so what is the Langtechpreneur approach? So this approach is a holistic educational framework. To be able to implement this, of course, there are some key components. Because this approach aims to produce graduates who can speak multiple languages. They can use technology well, and they can create new solutions to real world problems. It includes teaching how to communicate in different languages. It also includes how to use digital tools and how to think like an entrepreneur, how to understand different cultures, and how to work on real projects. So as you can see on the screen, the Langtechpreneur approach, there are several key components, start from multilingual communication, digital literacy, entrepreneurial mindset, cross-cultural competence, and project-based learning. Those are the knowledge and skills that our students need. Next slide, please. All right. I will invite you to take a look at the case study that is University of Lea. So the MC, Amelia, she's also my student. Amelia just mentioned that University of Lea used to known as STBA Lea, Sekolah Tinggi Bahasa Asing Lea, or Lea Institute of Foreign Languages. It was the first Sekolah Tinggi Bahasa Asing in Jakarta. And when we educate our students, our aim is not only giving them the knowledge and skills of language that they are learning. It is English language or Japanese, but we would like them to be able to create something, to add value using the language skills. At that time, we came with the slogan, Langtechpreneur, how the language skills that we have combined with business ideas can help students for a better job and better future. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is the picture when Pak Sandiaga Uno, together with STB Alia Jakarta, we provide scholarships, 100% scholarship for students untuk pelaku aircraft to learn to study English and Japanese di Sekolah Tinggi Bahasa Asing LIA Jakarta. And we are very proud that at a time Pak Sandiaga Uno sangat mengapresiasi Langtechpreneur Sekolah Tinggi Bahasa Asing LIA. Saya pasang fotonya soalnya ganteng Pak Sandiaga Uno. Dan saya di sebelahnya gitu kan. Nah, ya. Lama-lama aja di slide yang ini. Ya, lanjut Alul. Alright. Now, in 2023, we transform into a university. Then Study Alia, we provide only 2 language programs. One is English language, and then the second is the Japanese language. Started in 2023, we have 7 study programs. So now we have computer science or informatics, system information, digital business, visual communication design, English, and Japanese. The transformation of STB Alia into University of LIA shows how we move from just Langtechpreneur to Langtechpreneur, meaning that we recognize that language, technology, and entrepreneurship all go together into this world. Next slide, please. Okay. Previous slide, not this one. Thank you. Okay. If we want to help our students get ready with the Langtechpreneurship, of course, it should be started with the curriculum. So how about the curriculum integration at University of LIA? Number one is that it is a mandatory, the language requirement. So no matter in what department you are, you have to study either English or Japanese. And it's not just an extra class, so it is a must for our student for finishing their degree. And we have our new slogan. If you visit our website, you could see a slogan, when technology meets language expertise. Why we said language expertise? Because University of under the foundation of Yayasan LIA, it used to be Lembaga Indonesia Amerika and founded in 1959. Jadi umurnya sudah 65 tahun. Sudah, udah yang 5 tahun tidak apa ya? Ngajar. Tua. Saya. Setengah bayar. Serius Pak. Setengah. 65 loh Pak. Nah itu kata Pak Rektor ya, Pak Rektor Tambi Aping, Prof. Suyanto. Setengah bayar katanya, udah 65 tahun. It's so how we combine language education with technology and entrepreneurial skills. Jadi language expertise itu karena LIA bangga dan percaya diri dengan sejarah pembelajaran bahasa asing, tidak hanya bahasa Inggris, tetapi juga bahasa Indonesia untuk penutur asing sejak tahun 1959. Dari fondasi yang kuat itulah berdiri Sekolah Tinggi Bahasa Asing LIA pada tahun 1999, dan kemudian karena kita harus beradaptasi terhadap kemajuan zaman dan kemajuan teknologi, maka kami kalau di Power Ranger gitu ya, dari STB Alia menjadi Universitas LIA. Next slide, please. Okay, now how about the career opportunities for Langtechpreneur graduates? Of course, there's a lot. From language technology development, multilingual content management. Sekarang kayaknya hampir semua orang harus bisa bisa menjadi content creator. Cross cultural digital marketing, AI and machine learning and language localization and translation technologies, and e-learning and educational technology. Today we are going to also listen to some experts in e-learning and educational technology. Next slide, please. Okay, kurikulumnya sudah, career opportunity sudah. So what are the requirements of the implementation of Langtechpreneurship in higher education? The first is curriculum design. This is a must. Kita tidak bisa mencapai kalau tidak ada kurikulum design yang tepat. Dan kita sudah dirancang sedemikian rupa. Ibu Ismarita Ramayanti PhD adalah wakil rektor bidang akademik yang memimpin rancangan desain kurikulum Universitas LIA yang ujungnya akan menghasilkan mahasiswa yang memiliki jiwa yang and then also faculty development. Bagaimana setiap dosen? And I believe that every lecturers in the faculty of humanity, for example, they teach English, they teach Japanese, but at the same times, they are very skillful at using technology. And also the lecturers from faculty of science and business. Ada ya? Okay, I believe that we can use technology and at the same time fluent in English or Japanese, inshallah. And then the third one that we need to be able to implement Langtechpreneurship in higher education is industry partnership. So today we also invite some of our partners. Nanti akan ada ini keren, ada kelas digital, kemudian ada I4T ya, kemudian mereka itu semua adalah yang bekerja sama dengan kita untuk membangun generasi muda Indonesia. Next slide please, Alul. Alright, the second is technology infrastructure. Nah tadi ini tempatnya di sini. Kita butuh jaringan, and then we need also incubation programs, and then the last one, global networks. So today's conference is the reflection of the need of developing global networks. That's why I'm very happy to welcome Prof. Warner, Mr. David, Nigel, dan semua teman-teman dari 7 negara yang ikut berpartisipasi in today's conference. Next slide, please. Okay. Ada desainnya, ada persyaratannya. So what are the challenges of the implementation of Langtechpreneurship? Of course, number one is how we can balance the traditional and new approaches. Tidak semuanya itu terbuka dengan pendekatan yang baru. So it takes some time, I believe, before we can finally implement the Langtechpreneurship, but I am very optimistic. And then the second is keeping pace with technological advancements. We have 4 study programs yang berbasis teknologi, dan kita akan melengkapi kebutuhan itu sehingga bisa menghasilkan lulusan yang sesuai dengan kurikulum yang sudah kita desain. Dan yang terakhir tentu saja adalah ensuring faculty expertise. Di sini Bapak Ibu seluruh dosen itu wajib bisa berbahasa asing. Penanggung jawabnya adalah Ibu Ismarita. Kita lanjutkan. Okay, so this is the opportunities of Langtechpreneurship. When we implement the language Langtechpreneurship, we believe that it will attract diverse students. Karena mahasiswa itu kan juga mereka memiliki beragam passion, tetapi 3 hal itulah yang bisa menarik mahasiswa dari latar belakang apa saja, dan itu adalah kemampuan yang harus dikuasai oleh mereka semuanya. And by doing so, we will also enhance graduate employability. Kita memiliki tingkat apa tuh Bu Rita? Kelulusan yang mereka langsung bekerja itu yang sangat kecil ya dari Universitas LIA. Jadi hanya dalam 1 atau 2 bulan mereka semua sudah bekerja. Bahkan pada program studi tertentu, salah satunya Jepang, mereka meminta mahasiswa kita bahkan yang belum selesai untuk bisa bekerja di Jepang. Yang selanjutnya adalah fostering innovation in language technologies. And then the last one, how can we how we can contribute to the economic development. Next slide, please. All right. So how about the future of Langtechpreneurship? So from my perspective, the Langtechpreneur approach will be growing importance in the interconnected world. It has a very significant role in shaping the future of work. Next slide, please. Baik. Kesimpulannya, menurut saya, Langtechpreneurship is a promising direction. Kita dari perguruan tinggi harus bisa tidak saja menghasilkan mahasiswa yang menguasai pengetahuan dan skills yang harus mereka kuasai dari program studinya masing-masing, tapi we have to be able to give them some added values di dalam kelulusan mereka. Antara lain itu tadi, dengan bahasa dan jiwa wirausaha. And because inshallah we've been implementing the Langtechpreneurship, I would say that University of Lia is an example of the adaptation. But I also believe that we need further studies and collaboration to develop this concept more, and then to be able to refine best practices. And then by doing so, we can maximize the impact on career outcomes and innovation. Okay, Bapak dan Ibu, this is the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Kita berikan sekali lagi. Okay, this is a very interesting topic, Langtechpreneurship, because I'm sure this is a very new direction to the that involves three particular fields: language, technology, and entrepreneurship. And I believe ini adalah yang membuat Universitas Lia berbeda ya. This is what makes Universitas Lia different from other universities. Oke, sebelum kita mulai ke sesi berikutnya, ada sedikit info. So I would like the audience to prepare questions because karena saya punya beberapa hadiah menarik. Saya tidak akan spill dulu apa hadiahnya. Jadi diharapkan nanti akan ada pertanyaan yang baik, ya, dan ada yang paling bagus nanti akan berlaku.
Thank you, Komara. Thank you, Bapak dan Ibu.
Untuk selanjutnya akan ada, so there will be a speaker from Professor Dr. Peter John Water from Tohoku University. Okay, let's give a lot.
Right now, the slide's coming up. Okay. All right. Okay. I'd like to thank the committee and everyone for inviting me here and as a representative speaking from Tohoku University. is there a way to make these, get this side ones out? Maybe not. To make it larger. There, okay, all right, okay. I'm in the Graduate School of International Cultural Studies. I am actually in the Department of Language Sciences, which does a lot of work in various areas. Also, I'm in the Applied Linguistics Department, overseeing graduate students. And the address you can reach me at is, or you get our school is at https://www.intcul.tohoku.ac.jp. Or you can go to the homepage for tohoku.ac.jp, which incorporates all of our 5 campuses throughout Sendai. So you can get more information there. So if we can move to the next slide. So the purpose of that I'm going to talk about today is some research that I actually took regarding academic writing at our university. And one of the things we do is we try to teach students how to improve their writing. And one of those ways is through using conjunctions. So I have writing courses. We have 3 different courses that we have. We have the speaking, writing, and also the reading comprehension courses, which we use in our English for all students at Tohoku University, except for those students who might take a second language instead, in another language. But most of the students, about 80% of our students, take English as a second language in all departments. So today I'm going to talk about the relationship of conjunctions within the connecting sentences between 3 different development levels in our EFL students. We have 3 levels. We separate them into pre-intermediate, intermediate, and advanced. And we give a test when they first enter college, and then we try to separate them into groups so that we can actually better accommodate and make the classes more efficient. Next slide, please. So my study consisted of groups of approximately 40 students in 3 different classes. And the students were given 80 minutes to write a 1,000 word essay, approximately 500 to 1,000 words, but they should try to write 1,000 words within an hour. And the initial class, I gave them the example they had to write their opinion regarding animal rights, arguing for the position that they actually believed in. So basically, the students were not allowed to have any dictionaries or any devices. They just had their paper and they just had to write out by hand, and it was strictly controlled. The in between this, we had 15 weeks of classes. So by the 15th class, I gave them the same 80 minutes to go and do an essay again. And in the last class, I had them write an essay on their opinion on social networking. What I did in these 2 classes is one of the things I was trying to look at was the effect of technology and whether technology actually helps us in our writing skills. So actually, I wanted to see if actually by writing by hand and doing essays and actually typing them into the computer had any effect. So this is one thing I did try to find inside the study also. So what I did was basically I had one control group, and that control group actually wrote everything out by hand. And the essays were sent to me by computer, but still they had to write them out by hand. And they made a JPG or PDF file, and they sent it to me, and I would read them by hand off the computer. And the other 2 classes I let them type everything in on the computer and send it in to me by computer with it in typed format. So these other 2 groups actually did the first by handwriting in the class with no computer, and at the end with no computer. So I wanted to see if there was any difference in that also when I was doing this study. So can we move to the next slide? So I'd like to move on to the areas of conjunctions that I researched in my study. Based on various definitions, I created a definition called intralinking conjunctions, which are phrases that are joined within one sentence when you use a conjunction, and interlinking coordinating conjunctions, which are phrases that are joined outside sentences. So if you have a conjunction that is, for example, at the beginning of the second sentences, but it connects it to the first sentence, and subordinating conjunctions, which are relationships between independent and dependent clauses. So these are the three areas that I concentrated on in my research. So next slide, please. So basically, there are frequent conjunctions that are have been evidenced in most research, and there's been a lot of research on conjunctions, show that these are the most common conjunctions used for and, not, but, or, yet, and so for interlinking coordinating conjunctions. So these are interlinking because they are actually used in intralinking. I'm sorry, intralinking because they're used within the sentences. Next one. Next slide. Now we have the interlinking coordinating conjunctions. Now some of these are the same as used in the interlinking coordinating conjunctions, but they're more limited in the use. So in the interlinking coordinating conjunctions, the most frequently used that we saw were for, and, but, yet, and so, as has been evidenced in other research also. But I wanted to see the difference between using the intralinking coordinating conjunctions and the interlinking coordinating conjunctions, and see what the development process was for the students between the three levels. Next slide, please. So next is the subordinating clause, and subordinating clause is another type of conjunction that is commonly used, and these are the conjunctions that I looked for also in subordinating clauses when I was calculating which conjunctions they use. Next slide, please. And also the correlation conjunctions. Correlation conjunctions are one of the most difficult, and so I wanted to see which group of students actually use the correlation conjunctions in their writing. So I looked at this also in my research. Next slide, please. So first of all, interlinking coordinating conjunctions. When the students were performing, you can see the pre-intermediate, the intermediate, and the advanced group. As you can see in the pre-test, they pre-intermediate used less conjunctions, and all the way up to the advanced students use more conjunctions. Now, this had to do also with more writing, but with it, they had the same time limit and they had the same essay that they were working with. Now, in the post-test, you can see there was quite an increase because of the by teaching how to use conjunctions in the class and providing examples. There was the 46% increase by the pre-intermediate. The pre-intermediate students really improved in their use of conjunctions because they were writing and using them much more, especially the coordinating conjunctions. The intermediate students increased by 40%, and the advanced students increased by 20.4%. Now, the advanced students, you'd wonder why is their level not increasing as much? I will be talking about that later, why they increase. But one of the reasons is because their level of using conjunctions is more developed, and they were writing longer essays at the beginning. Next slide, please. Next slide. Oh, no, go back. I'm sorry, back. Okay. Yeah. Also, interlinking. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. interlinking. No, sorry, this is interlinking. Okay, I apologize. The top I have mispronounced there. These are interlinking coordinating conjunctions. Okay, interlinking coordinating conjunctions were used less in the pre-intermediate group and the intermediate group and the advanced group. So, as you can see, they did increase in their use, but they didn't increase that much. As students improved their writing, we saw more of using them in the interlinking coordinating conjunctions. Interlinking. They use the interlinking coordinating conjunctions more than the interlinking coordinating conjunctions, and this is just the way the Japanese students write. Next slide, please. So you can see here that the advanced level is much higher, and you can see that the pre-intermediate group is much lower in the use of their interlinking coordinating conjunctions. Next slide, please. Okay. I just explained the reason. Next slide, please. Is it not next slide? I'm sorry. Okay, go back. I'm sorry. I might have made a mistake there. Okay. Possible explanations for the. Also, there was the in what I noticed in the, you'll see that the advanced group here is 465 and the pre-intermediate is 576. Now this is the post-test. Now the post-test, like I said, I suppose that the reason for this was that like I said, the pre-intermediate students started using conjunctions and then they improved on, they understood it much more and then they used it more. But the advanced students, I believe, used other functions, which I'm going to be showing in a few minutes. Next slide, please. This is the also looking at the interlinking. Interlinking, again, the advanced was at 72. The intermediate and advanced were very close to the same, but the pre-intermediate was a little bit lower. Okay, next slide. Then I looked at a post-test with the same thing, and again, the advanced group increased a little bit, but you can see the intermediate group and the pre-intermediate group actually used more of the interlinking in the post-test for some reason. Next slide. So what I wanted to do is to look at the, this is the interlinking summary here, which shows that there was a 32% increase by the pre-intermediate. The intermediate had a 30% increase and the advanced had 6.9. So here the advanced students in the use of the subordinating conjunctions, it was a little less, but the pre-intermediate and the intermediate had a tendency to use the same amount of these type of conjunctions, the subordinating conjunctions. Next slide, please. So what is my idea? Well, the advanced students had developed effective use of their subordinating conjunctions. So advanced students started using subordinating conjunctions more in conjunction with the other conjunction, with the coordinating conjunctions, and therefore the pre-intermediate and the intermediate students still needed to develop these areas. And I propose that that's the reason that the coordinating conjunctions were used more by those two groups. So I could see the development changes, which are tied very closely to the testing from the beginning. Next. Now the correlative, so I wanted to see what type of effect would correlative conjunctions have, because they're much more difficult, as I mentioned. And so in the correlative conjunctions, you can notice that the pre-intermediate could not even do the correlative conjunctions inside. They didn't actually use correlative conjunctions where you have two conjunctions that are necessary to combine with each other. But the intermediate, at the pre-test, they had none or just very limited amount, and they increased their use of the correlative conjunctions immensely. So they were using a much more advanced conjunction And this is probably one of the reasons that they reduced the number of coordinating conjunctions that they had percentage-wise inside their essays. The next slide. So this is my references, which is basically showing past research in conjunctions that I got the definitions from the past. But what is unique about this research is that I identify and try to provide a developmental level for how students actually use inter-coordinating conjunctions and intra-coordinating conjunctions. And in all the research I've researched, I have not seen any definition right or identify this as intra-coordinating conjunction or inter-coordinating conjunction. That is a definition that I created based on, I work with bilingualism a lot, and we have intra code switching and inter code switching also with students. So that's why I would try to apply that to conjunctions and see how conjunctions refer back and how they're used within sentences themselves. So this is my conclusion with my research that I had. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Peter Joan Wenner. This is a very interesting research about the use of conjunction in students' essay involving students in different levels. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Actually, I've got a number of questions, but because the time is limited, yeah. But maybe I'm going to ask questions later on in the discussion session. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, kita beri tepuk tangan untuk Professor John Wenner. Okay. For the next presentation will be delivered by Kombes Pol Dani Hernando, SIK MH from Sekolah Bahasa Polri. So Mr. Dani Hernando will be presenting about foreign language awareness. Yeah. Ya, pada Bapak Dani Hernando, itu dipersilakan Pak. Ya,
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, selamat pagi. Ohayo gozaimasu. Gimana ya? Oh. Tisik beneden. Swadika. Okay, first of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Dani Hernando. I'm real Indonesian, not Hispanic. I'm police officer who has current position as the head of Police Language School, or familiar with Sebasa Polri. For your information, Indonesian National Police is the only one police institution in the world which possess language school. Well, Well, ladies and gentlemen, before I continue my presentation, I would like to express my feeling. Within 5 years, as the head of Polish Language School, I have come to Liam for many times. Every time I come here, I feel deja vu. Because I have taken English course in Lia Gatot Subroto, 35 years ago, before I joined Police Academy. So, if you find mistake in my English, Lia University have a contribution to my mistake. Okay, let's move to our topic today, foreign language awareness for police officers. What is foreign language awareness? It is about recognizing the value of understanding and appreciating languages and culture beyond your own. It enhances communication, builds professional skill, and foster a more inclusive and connected world. Next slide. Based on research on the world's largest ranking of countries and regions by English skill conducted by EF English First, the development of foreign language skill in Indonesia has experienced up and downs from 2011 to 2023. In 2011, EF reported that Indonesia English Proficiency Index (EPI) was very low, with a score of 44.78. The highest scores achieved by Indonesia was in the 2013 with a score of 513 and dropped sharply in 2020 with a score 453. The latest result in 2023 showed Indonesia English Proficiency Index was low. Indonesia is ranked 79 of 113 countries worldwide with a global average score of 473 in Asia. Indonesia is ranked 13 out of 23 countries. So, this data shows that general awareness of English is still low. Next slide. Why the Indonesian national police officer to be aware of foreign language? Because Indonesia National Police is like us. We are human beings. We are not living on the chamber. We have relationship with the people and with foreigners. Either do police officers. INP is a member of Interpol, ASEANAPOL, and always involved with United Nations peacekeeper operation. Like I did. I was United Nations peacekeepers in Bosnia Herzegovina in 1999 until 2000. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you may read 7 issues on the slide. Effective communication, cultural understanding, handling differs, professional development, international collaboration, community relations, adapting to global challenges. What do you think? Could we, as police officers, handle these issues without mastering foreign language? Absolutely no. So, foreign language awareness for police officer is a must. Yeah. Okay. Next, I would like to explain past and current condition of foreign language awareness, especially for police officers. In the past, most of police officers have lack of awareness. Only a few police officers spoke foreign language fluently, even English. If I mention a few names of General of Police, they are outstanding in their generation and they are famous in their English skill. Okay, I will mention late General Awaludin Jamin, former Kapolri, General Tito Karnavian, General Napoleon Bonaparte, General Petrus Golese, former Chief of BNN, and General Krishnamurti. He will be my new boss. Not yet General. Yeah. The names I mentioned above, they are outstanding in their generation in English skill. In my generation, foreign language considers not important. I mean in the past time. Foreign language or English just only for jokes. In the past, if someone asks, bisa bahasa apa? I speak body language. I speak body language. Or bisa bahasa apa? I speak Javanese, Sundanese, Palembang, Madura. So English is only for jokes. But nowadays, the current condition, police officers face the issues like globalization and technological advancement, emergence of new challenges, and accessibility of information. It is impossible without mastering foreign language or at least English. Okay, next slide. And what Sebasa and INP do related to foreign language awareness? Sebasa and Indonesian National Police have implemented several initiatives to enhance foreign language awareness for police officers. Here is a more detailed overview what we have done. First, regular foreign language course. Sebasa offers regular foreign language course such as English, French, Mandarin, Arabic, Japanese, and Korea for police officers, as well as Indonesian language for the foreign police officer who will study in Lembang, Bandung for staff and command school. Korean language course is the newest program organized by Sebasa in 2022. At this moment, I take along with me some officers. They are teachers of Sebasa Lemdiklat Polri. For example, Adnan San, Chico Sukai.
My name is Adnan Saputra. I'm from Police Language School as well. Deserve your school organization that much. It's an honor and nice to meet you.
Arigato, Adnan San. Okay, second, I have digital program, web learning and learning video. Web learning is combination program between webinar and e-learning via Zoom meeting. We discuss about foreign language issues among police officers and globalization. We also have learning video or video pembelajaran. Video related to foreign language lessons in Sebasa. And both programs have been awarded by Bapak Kapolri. Next, English competency test. Sebasa and International Relations Divisions collaborate together to go to regional police and conducting the English competency tests. We are testing the police officers in the regional police. We have picture how is the English ability among them. Next. Specialized language training for missions. Sebasa organizes specific language course like French training for peacekeepers before international missions, ensuring officers are prepared for global assignment. For your information, Indonesia contingent is the best for French-speaking other than Francophone countries contingent. For example, I take along with me one officer, former peacekeeper, Monsieur Ilham, Persong Tetoahu.
Kami itu juga opsi, maka yang paling kira me cukup apelai Ilham. Jadi beliau travail avec la Géorgie à tout le sud et Sudan en 2016 jusqu'à 2018. What I'm saying is, I have experience working in the United Nations in Sudan and also in Sudan, up to 2017, and up to I can speak French. Thank you.
Pourquoi vous voulez partir à la mission?
So, la photography pour ajouter l'expérience. Say, I'm for unique, a little bit unique, working with different backgrounds, different countries in one unit, different actions. You know, I have experience working with different people in one unit with their actions, Indian accent, Russian accent, Spanish accent, Italian.
But you speak French like Senegal people, eh? African accent. Okay. Besides peacekeeper, besides peacekeeper officer, we also have the policewoman who has the task for Hajj security officers. Next, social media management. Sebasa utilize platform like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube to share language learning resource and promote awareness of language skill among officers and community, including creative and inspirational contents related to foreign languages. Next slide. We have conveyed the background and the effort we made already. Now, let's discuss the importance of foreign language awareness and the objective. 1. Improving communication. Eliminating language barrier. For example, a police officer can speak confidently to foreigner if she or he has English skill fluently and well. 2. Enhancing career development. Foreign language skill can lead to promotion and special assignments, domestic and international. 3. Addressing security challenges. To equip officers with the required skills to anticipate and respond to criminal acts involving foreigners. Currently, many cases of crime or violation involve the foreigners. 4. Facilitating international collaboration. To foster cooperation with law enforcement agencies from other countries. It can strengthen collaboration with international law enforcement, making it easier to share information and work together on cross-border issues. 5. Promoting intercultural understanding. It trains officers to work effectively in multicultural environments, helping them to serve various communities better. 6. Increasing overall language proficiency to improve general level of language skill in the police. Currently, it is common for Sabasa personnel to be involved as translator or interpreter in solving cases in Jakarta and other areas. Now we go to conclusion. Enhancing foreign language awareness among Indonesian national police officers is essential for modern law enforcement in globalized world. As officers become adept at navigating multicultural environment, they are better equipped to address security challenge, facilitate international cooperation, and respond to emergencies. Foreign language awareness is crucial step forward building a more competent, responsive, and culturally sensitive police force that can serve to protect all members of society. Before I close this presentation, at this moment, I would like to inform you all, this is my last performance as the principal of Sabasa due to my new assignment. Next week, I have new position in International Relation Division of Indonesian National Police, Divisi Hubungan Internasional. I will be General Krishnamurti staff. I will be replaced by Mr. Johnny Getamala. He comes from International Relation Division as well. He has a lot of international experience. He was posted in overseas for many times, and I'm sure he will continue cooperation between LIA University and Sabasa. Dear Madam Rector, thanks a lot for great cooperation between LIA and Sabasa. I hope this cooperation will be continued and sustainable. Thank you. Terima kasih. Arigato gozaimasu. Kapunkap. Teshikur ederim. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dani Hernando, for the presentations. So I trust that everyone can see the significance of foreign language awareness. And Mr. Dani just delivered the importance of foreign language awareness in every institution. Moving to the next speaker. Mr. Nigel Klik MBA from Linguistic. Okay, the floor is yours. Okay, give applause.
So terima kasih banyak. Selamat pagi. Maaf, saya ada sedikit bahasa Indonesia. Saya mulai dengan bahasa Indonesia, tapi saya akan ganti pasti cepat, jalan cepat. So terima kasih Bu untuk invitasi. Ada 3 alasan saya senang sekali datang ke sini. Yang pertama, saya memang menjadi Langtechpreneurship yang pertama mungkin, karena saya memang itu 20 tahun yang lalu, saya mulai 25 tahun yang lalu, saya mulai really English, dan itu title-nya baru. Kalau saya boleh, mungkin saya change business card saya untuk Nigel Klik, Langtechpreneurship. Itu yang pertama. Yang kedua, saya juga birthday 25 tahun. Saya mulai really English 99 bulan September juga. Jadi we share. And then yang ketiga, terima kasih untuk discount untuk bahasa Betawi kursus dari LIA. Ya, saya kembali untuk itu ya. Tapi maaf, itu mungkin selesai bahasa Indonesia. Saya akan mengganti untuk Inggris. But one thing I do want to say. So mungkin saya sedikit lebih. Saya tinggal di Jakarta 95 sampai 97. Saya bisa kemana-mana di Indonesia dengan bahasa Indonesia. Memang waktu itu Irian, sekarang Papua, ke Sulawesi, Kalimantan, Mentawai, kemana-mana dengan bahasa Indonesia. Semua orang bisa 2 atau 3 bahasa, tapi dengan bahasa Indonesia saya bisa jalan-jalan. Itu seperti bahasa Inggris sekarang. Bisa di dunia seluruh kalau bisa bahasa Inggris. Itu apa yang vision, the reason that I'm doing this. So I started really English 25 years ago because I am extremely lucky. I was born speaking English. So you guys have to learn it. You have to think when you write emails. You have to think when you write essays, when you write academic papers. I don't. It's easy for me. I am a cheat. I'm cheating, right? It's much, much harder. And the other thing is, Badani showed it, there is no reason why Indonesia should be so low in the table of English. And I can tell you, because my experience in Japan significantly, English is a terrible ripoff. So much money has been spent and so few people speak English. It's extraordinary. In no other place would you ever find that as acceptable. And Japan is probably the worst. Billions of dollars are spent, and we go to university, and I go to a language school, and the head teacher has a translator for me. So I really started reading English to democratize English, to make English available to everybody. Not because I want you to read Shakespeare. I'm very happy if you want to read Shakespeare, but because I want people to communicate really effectively with each other. And I see that when I was in Japan, we had a lot of colleagues in China. And of course, China and Japan have this governmental kind of battle, but Japanese and Chinese get on very well. But how are they going to get on if they can't communicate? English is the key. And I am extremely lucky. Next slide, please. Thank you. So there are a couple of things. First of all, teaching English is incredibly hard, I think. So when we think about a language, what are we really asking our students? We're asking them to control thousands of words, to be able to respond very quickly to a question they don't know is coming. I can ask you, how far is the sun from the moon? Just like that. You have no idea. If you're studying physics, you know, this is the formula. This is what we're going to do. But in English class, you don't know. You have to be prepared for all of that. But it is extremely important for 2 reasons. The first is the barriers of language that I've talked about. And the second is because English opens gateways to further education far more than any other subject in the world. If you can speak English, you can study maths for free at Khan Academy. If you study English, you can go on YouTube and get great videos with great explanations for free. And we'll talk about some of the social impact that comes with all of that. So English is really hard to teach, and it's the greatest regret of most parents I talk to. Most people say, if I could study again, I would study English more, because it opens doors to business, it opens doors to better education, it opens doors to a lot of different things. Next slide, please. But it's tough. It's really tough. And I'm in the UK, and I talk to people and they say, what language do you speak? And I say, well, I speak Indonesia. And they say, wow, that's amazing. You speak Indonesian. And I'm like, yeah. But it's a really simple language. I don't tell them it's a simple language. The grammar is very simple and all these things, but everyone thinks, oh, English is difficult. And And it's really difficult for teachers because we know that improvement in English or improvement in language comes by what you learn. A teacher can explain things, but language is what you learn. It's the time you spend practicing on your own. When I'm in a school and people say, you know, how I'm in rural Indonesia or rural Vietnam, and maybe the teacher doesn't speak English and is teaching English, and the students say, how can I learn? I say, just say to yourself the things that you're doing. So, saya jalan kaki, saya belok kanan, saya belok kiri. Say those things in English and practice it constantly in your head. Everything you do, practice in the language you are learning, because that is how I think you learn a language more fundamentally. You can't be taught. I can tell you this is a microphone, but if you don't practice it and see it over the next few days, you'll forget that. So it's all about learning. And that makes it tough in the classroom because you only get a few hours. So we have to enable our learners to be able to practice. And that's where digital comes in. You can't really practice from a textbook. It's tough practicing on your own. But if you have a phone, you can now practice. That's the big advantage that you all have. The disadvantage is when I'm learning a language and looking in a dictionary, it takes me time to find the word. So I remember it. Now you just get it on your phone and you forget it because it's so quick. But the process of learning, it stays for much longer if it's painful. Next slide, please. So what have we really tried to do with our solution when we started it? First of all, we wanted to make English achievable. So we started in Japan, and a lot of our learners have been studying for a long time, and their level is A1 or maybe even A0 or you know, if we're lucky, A2. So we wanted to show people that you can actually learn. We wanted to make it accessible, so it's on the phone. It was when we started on the computer, it's now on the phone, and we want to make it affordable. It should not cost you lots of money to learn something as important as English, and that's what we wanted to do. Next slide, please. So just a little bit of background on Real English, so you know I'm not completely mad, or maybe I am, but there's a reason for it. We've done 25 years, as I said. We started in Japan. Japan was, when we started, the biggest market. It has arguably the biggest problem because more money is spent and wasted in Japan than I think any other country in the world. We've gone global into many other countries since. And what I also want to talk a little bit about is when you think about being an entrepreneur, and I think language is really critical in this, I want you to think of the social impact potential that it has. So for me, as I said, my reason is I'm very lucky. I speak English. I went to Cambridge University. I went to Harvard because I was able to speak English. I want to make sure I give back. And I think that's a really important part of it. And language you can give back because language opens doors. So we have 3,000 girls in Afghanistan learning English. They're not allowed to learn, but they're learning English because an app goes straight to the home. We have people in Gaza who are desperate for food and shelter, but they are learning because that's the future for them. We have to look and we have to build the future. So we have learners in Syrian, Lebanese refugee camps. We supported Ukraine at the beginning of the war because language and English allows people to learn things and to do other things. And I think that the younger generation, you have this much more, I think, and in Indonesia, you're exceptionally good at it, about thinking about those who are less fortunate. And language is an important part of that because language does give opportunities. I say language, English particularly gives opportunities to people. So when you're thinking about entrepreneurship, please also think about giving back, making money, enough money, but giving back as well. Yeah, next slide, please. So we have achieved some success. We've had 2 million paid for learners, 100,000 unpaid. We've had a lot of hours of study and we've had completion rates. And what we look at is whether students study or not. Our courses are not cool and fun and glamorous. They're real hard-working English courses. And if you study them, you will improve. And we have a lot of metrics to show that. Yeah, next slide, please. We've gone down the route of self-study initially. And we've gone down the route of self-study because it is scalable, because it means we can reach really everywhere. But self-study is lonely. You've all learned languages. I've tried to learn Masanese, other languages. You can start to feel you're getting good, and then you hit a wall again. And you hit a wall, and it's really depressing, and you think, I'm never going to learn it. So self-study is a lonely and a difficult road. That's why we brought in self-study with teachers. So the partnership really works. Yeah, next slide, please. And the students who are successful at English largely fall into two categories. The wealthy, because they can have private teachers, they can go to the US, the UK, they can travel around, they've got the time. Or the super self-motivated who will learn. They will learn from anything, anywhere, because they're super motivated. Next slide, please. But most of the world's population is not self-motivated and is not rich, and it's much tougher for them to learn because maybe their teacher doesn't really speak English, the class is very big, how can they practice? Next slide, please. So that's what we have focused on. And we start from the point for university students, particularly in Japan, when many people hate our product, which is quite strange when you're trying to sell something that people hate, but they hate it because they failed. They spent 15 years in the classroom failing to learn it. They come to university, they are A1 after 15 years of English, and they think it's impossible. It's not impossible. It's just that you've not been taught in the right way. You've not been given the right chances. So what we want to do is we want to undo the damage that's been done and show people that actually you can learn. And that's what our lessons are all about. And that gets back to the achievable part. Yeah, next slide, please. Thank you. So the reason that I'm still here, the reason that I've survived, despite the fact that educational technology has been horrible until people started, and then it became slightly more popular and thought about. But before coughing and before COVID, it was not a good space, but we were able to show students and improve students. So we have Sony and Toyota and Fujitsu and lots of big companies using us because we can show improvement. And we show improvement because we can show students that they can improve. And because they see themselves improving, so they continue, and so things get better. Yeah, thanks. So just a few things for me that I've kind of learned in my way. People say to me, who is your biggest competition? And I say it's time. Time, because you much prefer to go to dinner with your family or to the movies or play games online or do whatever than studying English on a small learning device, right? Much, much more fun. So if you are going to commit to this, then we have to make it as efficient as possible. The greatest improvement for the least amount of time spent on task. That is what we are trying to do. You cannot learn English in 2 weeks, despite what people say. You cannot learn it in 6 months, despite what people say. But for every minute you spend, we can make you better, faster, if you focus and you do it. And that's because it's not great fun. It really focuses on it. And that's the other point. And forgive me for those who don't like football. There are 2 billion people in the world learning English, and there are 4 billion people who watch football. So I have to use football as the best analogy. Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo, 2 of the most famous footballers, did not learn to play football by watching people play football, right? You have to kick a ball. In English, you have to answer questions. I always worry people watching videos and all these things about English and going to sleep and not really paying attention. So ours is all about answering questions. You have to kick a ball to play football. You have to answer questions. You have to practice English to be good at English. So we've combined efficiency and effectiveness, doing more of the right thing. A little bit of AI comes in to choosing the right for different students, because when a student comes to university, their level is like a road. And a road is full of potholes in different places because they've learned English in different ways, different colleges, different schools. And what we need to do is find out those holes and then repair them. We don't want to tarmac the whole road because that wastes time. It's inefficient. We want to make sure we find the potholes. And so you're terrible at listening, you just do listening. You're terrible at reading, you do reading. You're in the same class, but we're going to give you the different things that you need to match what you need. Yeah, thanks. So The other thing in Japan, and this allows us really to help in rural Indonesia, in rural Vietnam and places, is most English teachers do not speak English. And therefore, it's pretty tough and pretty unfair of us, to expect our learners to be good at English. Because a Japanese teacher, and in many classes, if they don't speak English, they're going to focus on grammar. Because I'm going to explain grammar to you in Indonesian or in Japanese or whatever. So your grammar might be very good, but actually it's no good. You're not going to be able to learn English. So what we've had to do is we've had to adapt our courses to allow teachers who don't speak English to still let their students free with the app. Just go forth and study. So our lessons are designed extremely simple, and they all follow the classroom approach, the best old-fashioned, forget AI and complicated new things. There are some things about the way that language has been taught which is right. So presentation, practice, and then review. And what happens is you present the language gently, no risks, you can make mistakes, not important. You practice it, a little bit more risk, you practice it, you can get corrected, and then you review it. But by the time you review it, you should know the answers. And so your score comes out good, and you think, oh, maybe I can do English. Maybe this will work, and so on. And you carry on to the next lesson. So we have, across the board, if you imagine a traditional publisher will create classroom material and then add digital. Now, Really English creates digital and added classroom material. So if you have a teacher, great. Self-study, perfect. If you have a teacher very occasionally, maybe a little bit, if you have a teacher, then we can give you blended or flipped classroom materials that are integrated. If you have a teacher occasionally, maybe you can use some of this classroom material. But if you don't, then we can still help you self-study wise. You can still do this and you can still improve quickly studying on your own. We focus on the skills. We have a listening lesson. It's a listening lesson. It's not a 4 skills lesson. We're focusing on improving your listening. We're focusing on improving your reading. That's how we think we get the best thing. And also in terms of technology and language, I can tell you there are a lot of companies out there that use technology because we can. Wow, this is cool. It's not relevant to most students. I could use PowerPoint. This looks okay, but maybe I'm using 1% of the functionality of PowerPoint to get you this presentation. But it's not terrible. It does the job. So my point about technology and language is use those things which actually make a difference to the students, not you can talk about it at dinner, say we have this cool. Do it because it matters and because the teachers and the students will actually use it. Yeah, thanks. So we have, as I said, we have blended material. Yeah, next slide, please. So we have exactly what you would expect. We have everything that we can put on the screen. It's on the phone, which is the self-study. It's all integrated. We have student books and teacher books, all of those things. So it works for the teacher because they're prepared for lessons and the students are prepared for lessons. And therefore we can give better quality. If all the class have done the lesson before and they come to class, it means the teacher can add value much more. First, you know who's not done the lesson very well, so we can move them into different areas in the class. We know that we can add speaking, which is really tough to do digitally. It doesn't really work, a little bit, but not great. So we can really add much more value because our students have actually done the lesson beforehand. We can monitor them. If you sit, you haven't been studying, I can see it here, you didn't do the lesson, come on, we can check everything. We can monitor our students and support them. And the data is super important because you might have one student who gets 50% and spent an hour on a lesson, and one student who gets 50% and spent 20 minutes on a lesson. No difference in score, but real difference in ability. We can tell that. We can see that. And we might, for example, have students studying at midnight. That's not good for her mental health. Let's track that down. Let's try to get that data and say, okay, it's not good for you. It's not good for your English learning, but it's not good for you mentally also to be studying at midnight. And we've all done it. So I accept. But again, it's that kind of data and that kind of information. So the teachers empowered, they feel better, they're unburdened because we're doing a lot of the work, we're doing a lot of corrections ourselves. Yeah, next slide, please. Sorry, thanks. And then the learner, they feel supported because they can do it when they want. I mean, again, please not midnight, but they can do it when they want. They can do it 10 minutes here, 20 minutes there, constantly practicing, constantly reviewing, constantly getting better. They're connected and the teachers know much more about them. so they can feel much more integrated into the process and much more value. Yeah, thanks. And administrators, always worry about administrators. Administrators can see everything. So they know exactly what's going on, and they can identify spots and worry areas and all of those kind of things. Yeah, thanks. I want to give this one example, Tianfu in China. And I've chosen this example because it's a vocational college. So it's already below the tier of university. The students are not motivated, but we still got them to study. But the really interesting thing about this is that the students, we had 2 campuses, and the students in the campuses where the teachers were involved did way more than the minimum. So pretty much everybody did the minimum. But where teachers were involved, students were doing hundreds of lessons, right? Much more than the minimum because the teachers were engaged. That's why I like this case study, because it shows that we can get the results with self-study, but those results are much better if teachers are involved. Thanks. So we want to make sure that our students improve. And I can stand here and tell you that we've got AI and we use contextualize this and we do this and that or whatever. But there is really only one question you should ever ask about any English language or any education business, and that is outcomes. Who cares if we use AI if everyone's getting 100% in all of their grades all of the time, right? So when we focus on student outcomes, and we use AI where we need to, but we use it sparingly to try to get those students. And remember, our job is scale. We are trying to reach millions of students with this. Of course, in a world where you're dealing with 10 or 20 or 30, it's different, and your reactions are different, and you're trying to get students to a different level, C2. I'm trying to get students to B2. And I'm trying to do that across Indonesia, across the world, to give everyone a chance to do that. So we focus on outcomes. And then, thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nigel from Linguistic. That's a very interesting presentation about how to teach and learn English effectively. So we have another speaker from Class Digital that will be delivered by Bapak Henry Mapesona, MSc. Okay, Pak Henry, silakan.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. First of all, I'd like to thank you to all to be given this opportunity to speak in front of this esteemed member. And first, I'd like to thank you to Professor Dr. Siti Yulida Nasarif, MPD, as a rector of Universitas Lia. And thank you very much once again. And the vice rector, Prof. Hasanuddin, we spoke yesterday. And I got a call from the last minute that I had to give this presentation actually. And it was an honor, but it's giving me a goosebump, when we're trying to deliver this. And I hope I can deliver this presentation in a short time, concise and not take too much time. So, and my respect to the professor from Tohoku University. Thank you very much for coming, and the fellow members and participants of this seminar today. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So today I'd like to speak. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Henry Mapesona. So I'm the founder. We are a company, an IT startup company that providing applications dedicated to the higher education institutions. So we call it our application as Class Digital. So our main aim, actually in the short term aims, is to build a Southeast Asia premier hybrid learning ecosystem. So this the ecosystem is one part that we are creating these applications for higher education industry. So we are based on the PT Kelas Dunia Eka Sakti. So we are creating a platform that featuring hybrid blended learning, campus management system, academic social media, and marketplace. So which later I will explain it further. But first of all, I'd like to talk about in Indonesia right now. I'd like to present a little bit of what's going on in Indonesia. The reason that we are building these applications is actually when we found out that there is a gap in Indonesian education right now. As you can see, we have 4,500 universities in Indonesia, and they can absorb 9 million students every year. But in fact, the ironic is every year high school graduates is about 46.1 million. That leaves the absorption rate for students to pursue their higher education opportunity is only about 20%. Compared with the lecturers, we also have a lack of lecturers as well. Basically, on the government regulations, we got a ratio of 1 to 30 students in a classroom. But in fact, we need about 150 students for one lecturer at the moment in Indonesia. So this is a gap that we really need to solve in the academic society in Indonesia. So, giving a bit of a facts of Indonesian, why those students, the other 37 millions who still cannot go to the universities, there are two reasons, which is accessibility and affordability. So these are the barriers that why they cannot go to the university. So that's why this is going to be our reason to create these applications. And also we also realize that English proficiency in Indonesia is very low, and we got we were grown after our Independence Day with Indonesian language. The interference of the English language is not very intense in Indonesia. So, and also in the labor output as well, there is a problem in Indonesia. From the 78 million workers in Indonesia, we just only have 10% university graduates which having a degree to work either in Indonesia or international. And we have the lower tertiary education's intake in Indonesia, around 20%. While Malaysia, they have already gone up to 45%, and even Singapore, 95%, they got almost 100%. Every high school graduates can continue their study. So these are some of the problems that become our main reasons that we have to develop applications that can provide accessibility and affordability to all students in Indonesia. So, because this seminar is about the language proficiency, I would like to give some perspective in the language. We see like this is a global perspective in collaborating in the work to become an international workforce, and I hope like the graduates of LIA or Universitas LIA, and I'm a proud member of LIA myself. I graduated from LIA when I was in high school. Before I went to UK, before I went to Sydney. Without LIA, I couldn't speak English at all. So this is the place, and I'm a proud member of LIA because LIA is giving me a good basic to survive in Sydney that time in Australia. Even though some dialect really confused us while we are in Australia, but somehow I managed to survive that way, and I'm really thankful for LIA to provide me with some basic knowledge about English. Okay, so there are things that I found it very interesting in Indonesia, and I would like to mention about multilingualism. In other words, maybe we can say polyglot. Yeah, this is a very interesting. I look at it as a very interesting subject that we need to consider very much. As we can see, actually, Indonesian people has an innate ability to be a polyglot. I'll give you a small example. If we're Jakarta, the Betawi, somehow we can speak Sunda, right? Yeah. If we go to restaurant Padang, somehow we speak Padang. Or maybe we go to Java, we can say Sugeng Dalu, Sugeng Rau. There's all the Romo Inggil. So basically, Indonesia has an innate ability, innate talent to speak as a polyglot. So it's just changing the perspectives. It's not just the Indonesian language. Why don't we try to be able to speak multiple languages into the other languages as well? So as Nigel Felix said, like learning English is very hard. Yeah. And he's my best friend. For all these years, I know we've been discussing a lot. He's an expert, Harvard graduate, so he's actually my teacher in English. So basically, I mean, like, why? Because we are having the innate talent in Indonesia. Considering learning English, I will say intrinsically, I'm not going to say it and externally like doing the formal studies. But why don't we learn the language, as my experience, and put it in our life? We have to learn English with our heart. It's not English as a part of a skill that we need to take, but why don't we use it as part of our life? As example, my wife is coming from the village, from one of the village in Sulawesi, and she cannot speak English at all. But once I took my son into a English school, she suddenly has to speak English, even though much more very very basic English, but somehow and eventually she gradually finding the way how to speak English better. So basically, this is the motivation intrinsically for the students. When you are learning English, it's not just a language, it's not just a theory or a lesson, but make it as part of your life. We find some examples, like I saw it in Instagram, that the local Indomaret cashier, he can speak a full Korean because he's watching a lot of Korean drama, and drakor, they're showing a lot of drakors, and suddenly she can speak Korean fluently. So this is one of the things that we need to see, is how we are going to feel that language is part of our heart. So make it as your part of your life. I'm listening to music. When I was a child, I'm listening to the music, English music, Bon Jovi, John Bon Jovi, and etc. And I try to translate all of the lyrics, and eventually I can understand what he's talking about, about the Bed of Roses or everything. So basically and partially, when you are learning language, you need to have your innate motivation and put it as part of your life. Okay. And secondly, I would like to put stress on the cross-cultural skills. We are living in a very, right now, we are almost living in a borderless country, borderless world. In Indonesia, we can have a lot of UK expatriates, India's, Japan, and everyone. And so we have to be able, when we are learning the language, actually we are learning the culture. So automatically we are learning the language, the cultures of itself. You are learning English, you are learning how the English people thinks, how the English people speak, their framework, their mind, the way they think, it comes in their language. So when you see in Drakor, they got their own mind, they got their own system of learning, of speaking. So they have a constructions of language inside their head. So this is part of the cultural. So we automatically will get close to the cultural side of the language that we are learning. So these are two basic points that I like to stress. But why we are learning any languages? So either it's English or either it's Japanese or Chinese, Mandarin. So you must put yourself that is you have to motivate yourself, but learning certain language that you live as their language and you learn the culture of their language. And absolutely, well, that's my personal experience. So when you are learning Chinese, you got friends in Chinese friends and try to speak and learning the cultures, and suddenly you got some, you're just not getting the formal language, you got the slangs as well. So it enrich your vocabularies actually, and eventually. So this 2 point about the language. But the next slide, I would like to stress up a little bit about our applications. So I would like to talk about the technology infrastructures. We since the COVID area, our Ministry of Education has stated that we are going to have a digital transformation in 2035, yeah, 25. But after the pandemic, they just shorten up and everything has to be done in 2015, isn't it? Yeah, if I'm not wrong, if I'm not mistaken. So this technology infrastructures it is going to be inevitable, and every university and institution has to apply. So this is part of the history of what is the technology infrastructures in the institutions. Firstly, we have the digital school. Digital school is the most earlier campus there, and many campuses are still using it. So they are using Icell to put their names and the campus network, and they're using LAN instead of Wi-Fi. These are becoming part of the investment as well. Depends on the campus. And the second part, and what the universities are having right now, is the digitalized e-learning. So basic part that they're having is the learning management system, campus management systems, and campus management system. However, there is an exclusivity for each campus while they're having the LMS and CMS. Why? Because this only can be made within the campus. There is a paradigm that I would like to mention. Permisi, Prof. Sianto. We had a discussion about this one, and there is a shift of paradigm that we have to change. Well, as my experience in the education industry as well, like exclusivity in the campus will create competition among campuses. But we are forgetting something. The stake of the competition lies on the graduates who are graduating from the campus. Why? Because they are competing in the real world, finding jobs and finding opportunities to work. So those are the stake of the competition that campus must have. Instead of competing with other universities, we have to prepare our graduates to be ready to compete in the real world. So the paradigm that I'd like to propose in this presentations, universities should collaborate instead to compete, because there is no use to compete. We are not the product. We are not like the ketchup. Ketchup is always number one, but there is no university as number one. Actually, yeah. So it's a different part of the product. It's a different part of the value and the university. So those are different things. We are not the product. Campus is not the product. So let's forget about competition. Let's collaborate with each other. So therefore, we started to come into the ubiquitous learning. This is one part. It's from Harvard. I got research from Harvard, and ubiquitous learning is just simply said anytime, anywhere, and anyone can do that. So this is a flexibility that we can give to the students. We are dismissing the attendance, so students either can pick they go to the class or they go outside the class and do the online classes. So basically, the features that they have in this part of the ubiquitous learning is the web apps, digital library, cloud-based big data, and also we have the hybrid learning factory, and IoT which are expanding our products features. Am I talking to Glenn? I mean, if everybody still got sleepy with it, so please go with me a second. So, the attributes. While we're making to present this, want to talk about PC, people, the attributes when we are making the technology infrastructures in our university. Firstly, is the ubiquitous learning is part of the ways and new ways. For 100 years, as we can see, the way that we are in the campus is always in class and there is a lecturer in front. And it never changed for hundreds of years. But right now, we gotta make a change. So this ubiquitous learning is going to be a solution for independent learning, independent learning, so students can learn by their own pace. So, and the second one is the big data computations. Algorithm data that you can gather from our application can be used for universities to find out the psychographic data and the behavior, how they study, and we can make any necessary adjustment to improve our education later on. And lastly is the automation. The automations will make an efficient and effective reporting system for the campus and making it easy for the staff so the staff can work harder. It doesn't mean that the staff is not going to work lesser, but they are going to work harder because they step up the ante. Yeah. So one of the benefits that we can see from this infrastructures is firstly the access to information. Access to information in universities, like we mostly see, the access to information is provided by university, but the access should be available to students and access should be available to lecturers as well. So all the stakeholders might get the access of information about this. Secondly is the communication. Collaboration communications is an aspect for universities to collaborate. Institutions to institutions, lecturers to lecturers to have a joint research. So this kind of activity, we need to enforce these activities in the new way of learning. Flexible learning options, that's what I said about the ubiquitous learning. Enhanced teaching and learning, so we are going to use the hybrid like Nigel Philip has the real English with the AI. I think he got really nice and sophisticated product to present this. So administrative efficiency, we have the campus management system ready. So it's going to be very easy. So like if we're facing accreditation, usually you have to stay awake for a week. Yeah? Prepare the accreditations, but give us a real time data that we can gather. And we don't have to sleep overnight and we don't have to go all the time and so and you get the skills value, of course. Now, this one is going to be, I would like to stress up about Langtechpreneurship as well. So the ecosystems that we are building in our applications, it's all the stakeholders of the academic stakeholders. You got universities can join us, and you can collaborate direct to other universities as well. So this will cutting the bureaucracy of creating a collaboration with the university through these applications. And also, I would like to make an analogy. This is the value chain of academic value chains, which is the producers of the universities and the industries. And the middle distribution comes to the training programs. These training programs will provide certifications and skills necessary to go to get the jobs. Because in industry, they are looking what skill that they're having is the skills matched to their proportion. So the contribution of training programs is also very, very crucial as well. And So in university, if you have the PPM, publishers ready, you can share your published papers and you can share it with the amount of money. So everybody can buy and use it as a bibliography for the thesis or dissertation. And you also be the campus will get the benefit as well. So those research papers is monetized. It's not just some free papers that you can give to the student. This is the exclusivity that for the students of Liang, they can get it for free, but for the others, they can pay. So this is a good thing, giving the benefits for the campus and public as well for the issue. A regulator, of course, is for the reporting systems and the corporations. This application is also being gathering recommendations in terms of human resource recruitment. So one thing for sure, they already believe that people in these applications is university graduates. So one conditions is eliminated with our apps. So the second thing is they're looking what are their skills and what are their this is the supporting, I don't need to say more, this is the payment gateway as well. So the campus can do the, for example, without having like one campus wants to go to the administration office and go to the bank and go back again and give the form of payment back to the registration. So you don't really have to go back and forward. You can pay by the curious, you can pay by the marathon or whatever else is available. So, this is class digital. We have 4 features of class digital, which is the hybrid blended learning, campus management system, the economic social media, and class. The look of our application is pretty much simple. It feels like WhatsApp, it feels like Instagram, and it feels like Zoom. So you can do the video conference, you can do the video conference, and you can chat at the same time. When you chatting, so basically learning in higher education institutions, the key success factors in the process of learning is discussions. As for example, if you're learning statistics with 10 students, but those 10 students have a different theme of their thesis, so you have to have a different approach in statistics, methodology, and sampling and other things. So with this hybrid learning systems, it can be personalized to every student, and students can ask to the lecturers 24/7. So you don't need to wait for the lecturers to come unavailable. So you can check, you can just check it. And second one is the campus management system. The one here, the campus management system is for the students and lecturers to track their academic progress. But if on the campus, we are providing you with a console for data instruction from the campus. And this social media we provide the academic network. You can either create collaboration with other campus, also you can have the messaging service and research collaborations. And finally, this is the academic marketplace. And first of all, I would like to say that this is a free application for institutions and universities in Indonesia, so you don't need to invest anymore about the server database. It's a free apps. And but the way that we get the money is actually in the marketplace. So it's just about retail and commerce that we are doing. So we're not giving pressures to universities, to institutions to invest any longer in the investment. So it just looks like this. And we have the campus management system. This is a hybrid learning. It's a streaming online and offline. Campus management system, academic social media for knowledge sharing, and marketplace. And these are partners. Right now we have partners in KMCAS, it's a Committee National of Economic and Sharia. They are pretty much interested with our system because we are not giving loans. So we are actually aligned with the Sharia system because we give them like what we call, I don't know how to say it's cicilan, but this cicilan you don't, huh? Installment, I'm sorry. Yeah, still got my teachers in here, so I can ask. Yeah, so they can have an installment. So you don't have to have the first or second or third. You can install even 100,000 rupees. You still can go to school. But at the end, you have to finish your installment without any interest at all. So therefore, kindly ask for us to, because the system will not charge to students and giving us the affordability for students to continue their studies. You know? So we also have strategic collaborations with the payment gateway with Agasarya, Aspire, Alcohol, and Mitrans. So you can pay via GoPay, Shopee, other things. And also we have a signed MOU with the PPE. So if Australia is going to start signing the MOU, actually we don't need that because we also already set up the MOU with us. So we just only need to set up with the MOU and the rest of it. And we got the Google Cloud platform in Indonesia. We have University Kebangsaan Malaysia is opening up the branch campus in Indonesia as well, and we are going to collaborate with the Indonesian universities. And we got the Permata Services Group. These are the how do you say that? Maybe you know that he's an advisor for universities in the UK, and we are willing to try to enter the Indonesian market through collaboration. So if you need any collaboration from UK, just give us a call and we'll hook you up with the universities there. So these are the academic marketplace. These are the product that we are selling. The campus transactions, paid and free courses, and a certification as Kappa will be carried out like from here. And the lecturers actually can make a class here, and paid classes as well for the students. So you can get an extra income. On the university also, I want to make an extra class for example, class with Weka. So you can make it full. And webinar and seminar as well, like we are doing. Actually, we can do that as well for those from our paid promotion and advertising. And we have utilities and data packages. This is what the students need. And one thing that I would like to stress up is general trading. We are shopping online in our marketplace, so students can start and can try the entrepreneurship activity through this part. As we know, Professor, probably you know, like every year we have a competition from our leadership, right? So we got all the students, most of them, the students know how to sell. So that is the problem that we help us, right? When they got all the ideas there, but they don't know how to sell. So we have to find this place for the entrepreneurship as well. So they can try to sell, they can manage, they can grow with what they're trying to do for the entrepreneurship. Because one of the key features why we're stressing on entrepreneurship is the waiting time for students to get a job. So it is a big part. Like students might have 1 or 2 years to get a job. During the 2 years, you can start entrepreneurship, and so this is the options for the students. Well, I've been a little bit. I just like to try to make it short. We have ikut 8, right? We also invited by the PPG to be part of betting how to make this ikut 8 in our class. So I would like to try to make it short. First is a graduate gets division groups. So this one we have the product, the paid and courses and certifications. So this is the opportunity for students. So our applications is aligned with the KPI of universities. And the second one, we have the general training, student get experience outside campus. So they can start doing the entrepreneurship as well. Lecturers active outside campus. Lecturers can open
classes for students as well. Even the institution can open classes for classroom data. We got a 6 semester classes, and all the students from under the campus can join as well. Practice what teach inside campus is the same with paid and free courses. Lecturers' work is used by the community. This is the function of the university. We have PPM, we have the connection, so we can share it with others, and society can also enjoy the result of our research. Number 6, study programs collaborate with worldwide partners. Well, we are inviting all the universities abroad. So the next thing are coming like campus from UKM, and also some campuses from UK, and also Thailand is coming also, and they want to implement this application as well. So we are still inviting them to come on board to our application as well. A collaborative and consistent process. This is our hybrid learning systems. We got a discussion forum. So students who are embarrassed to ask, they can at least chat and answer questions. So this is reinforced participative class with our systems. And study programs and international standards with the webinar and seminar. So we can develop later on. I will explain a little bit. This is collaborative short courses as well. So, and certification as I mentioned earlier. So you team of upskilling companies joining us. So these are universities are already onboarding applications. It's about 21 universities from Indonesia and 5 universities from Malaysia. Thailand is coming too. Mostly from Jakarta, Semarang, and Bali. Surprisingly, in terms of digital literacy, Bali is the most well adapted cities with digital literacy technology instead of Java. In some places in Java, some people, like my director Ferry, he's more confident to teach 1,000 students rather than 10 professors. So this is challenge like digital literacy. The challenge is where the lecturers is, not the students. The students will be easily adapt to these applications, but the lecturers. So we provide with the web version, so at least they can do the teaching method from the world, from laptops. This is the onboarding Malaysia University, we have UTM, MMU, Universitas Malaysia, Malaysia Kelantan Museum, and Teknologi Mangga. So, and this is the onboarding, the upskilling centers. So we have Dinar Academy. Sadler Academy is the American company for human resource development. Solusi Education International for the IT. So, the analysis is the yeah. He's teaching English, I'm teaching him the Tawi actually. So, we got Switzerland as well. It's an English-based company creating some materials, soft-based materials. And we have UT Academy. Last time we had TAU. With Panjabi University, we just had certification training for SKPI and the cyber security and the web development. And lastly, we signed the agreement yesterday in the Malaysian Embassy, witnessed by the Ambassador of Malaysia. So we are ready to jump in and collaborate in Malaysia. And these are some international universities that, yes, Syria is also part of it. So if especially need access to any universities, we also gladly try to make initiation to this collaboration happen. Okay. So this is the program that we're offering.
they got a dual degree program from students, and this is part of studying mobility as well. Startup also mentioned that they have their own edutourism product packages for studying in Malaysia for 8 days with certification as well. So license and licensing course, and lastly, of course, language proficiency. This is one of the most important thing to be stressed out with the Sicilian. So we are so happy to initiate a meeting with University for this part. So and finally, from our last meeting from LWT also advised us to create one features, what we call the crisis response system. In English, I call it PPKS. PPKS. So it's a matter of PPKS, so we expect to take a panic button for crisis response, and which includes sexual harassment, personal medical info, emergency process and disaster risk. Like in some part of the area with earthquakes, and in my experience in 2009, with the earthquake in Sumatera, half of my half of my students lost place during the earthquake. So this is the important thing that we got around 13,000 students. But after the earthquake, we just only got 66,000 students at the time. So it was a great loss for us, and condolences coming from all over the world, and try to rebuild again campus during that time. So this is one of the important things that we are going to create in the near future. So I think that's all that I can do today, and hopefully this application will bring heighten the level of quality of education system in Indonesia. And basically, our applications is part of our education Indonesian campus to make the Indonesian campus same level in the international community. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Students, I use English. So what does it mean? I use English as well. Okay. Right. Section of today's please. Since the discussion session, questions to the speakers.
Thank you very much. First of all, introduce myself. My name is Ferry Rojudin, and I'm partner with Henry. I'm a CEO and co-founder of Class Digital. And first of all, I would like to introduce myself as a member of graduate of LIA. At that time, it was in my high school. It was a long time ago. It was, I think, 1990 and 1992. So I entered at level 4, level 5, and graduate in level 6. During the building was in MT Haryono. It was a struggle getting there. I have to use the bus twice. I have to cross the MT Haryono freeway and walk. And at that time, I have to choose between extracurricular basketball, which is my favorite, or English. So I think it's I invested in the right extracurricular, which is English, which brings me along in my life as an adult. So that's what I like to mention, that when I'm coming to Leah, it brings back memories. So, and I also like to say that learning English is a very hard at times. Before my courses in Leah, I could not tell between chicken or kitchen. So I always get that mixed up. And nowadays, I I I I thought that English is not a problem in learning anymore, because the world is everything in English. You watch YouTube in English. Now you watch TV in English. And during our time, we only have one channel, right? TVRA or FCTI. And that's how you learn, or you learn reading books. So I think Indonesia have no problem in understanding listening, but they always have a problem in speaking, especially grammatically correct. And I always teach my children, don't worry about English. Try to learn something else. That something else language usually refer to English, right? If you're learning Japanese in Japan, they probably teach you Japan and translate it to English, right? So English is usually automatic. That's what I thought. So that's my comment. And my question is, maybe to Prof. Siti and University of Leah and others, in conjunction with Langtechpreneur, what are the challenges that the traditional learning or traditional teaching English against today's technology? You have translator apps, you have AI. Now you just talk to an app and then the app will translate to you maybe in Mandarin or in Japanese, right? So I think, and there's a lot of example, right? In Japan, I saw that people can talk to a box thing and then they translate it to you. And will that make people learning foreign language more lazy, or I don't care about speaking other language. I just have this app, and this app will translate it into. That's the technology side. I think that is it counterproductive to traditional teaching? How's Leah and other university challenge the technology that brings into foreign language learning or translation? I think that's my question. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. So let me clarify, Ferry. Ferry. So I'm asking question to Bu Ildar or Ildar. Okay, so we here.
Yeah, thank you, Pak Ferry, for the question. Okay, the question was the challenge. The challenge? Oh. I think we need to also invite see to answer this question. I don't know who is your bad.
Not my body anymore. Tough questions, you don't my body.
Yeah, I think that's very interesting, but also tough question at the same time. I am the product of learning English in the past, and in the past, my teachers and my teacher focused on teaching me grammar, vocabulary, and to be honest, I started learning English at my education background was Chinese. I studied Chinese in the University of Malaysia in 1988, and then I studied English only for 1.5 years. Okay, and then I completed my study through like linguistics. Yeah. Now, going back to your question, the challenge. I felt at that time, I also have to admit that sometimes I also feel difficulty in expressing my thought. Perhaps I know how to do some English test, but I also feel difficulty to speak English fluently. But because of the traditional approach that I received when I was learning English, I kept on telling to myself, hey, I am a lecturer. It's going to be very embarrassing if I cannot speak English fluently. Because I believe, as an English teacher, of course, I have to be able to speak English. Then I realized around 2006, I started learning English, and at the time, the approach shifted, not on the grammar focus, but on the communicative approach. The most important thing when you're learning a language is that you have to be able to communicate. What is the meaning of communicate? I understand what you're saying to me, when you understand what I said to you. As simple as that. And then after that, I gain my confidence. Many people know that I have a background in English, but actually it was Chinese. And then in 2022, there was a lot of discussion about AI. Okay, a lot of lecturers said to me that sometimes they feel that they were grading others, assignment, not their students. As if you don't know your student really well, because the assignment that you give to your students was done with the help of AI. And that also become the challenge for me, not only as a lecturer, but also as a learner. I have to say that I am an English learner up until now. And I'm not embarrassed to admit that, because I believe that the most important thing is that we can understand each other. And then with the AI, I always tell my fellow lecturers, we cannot avoid the technology that we have around us. We have to embrace the technology, but how we can use it, how we can use AI for our teaching, for our learning, and for our students' learning. We have to apply strategically. And what are the strategies? Of course, it depends on the objective of the lesson. I teach my students academic writing. Sometimes I feel that I'm grading someone else's writing. Okay? But then I apply my strategy. For example, in academic writing, when I ask my student to write a piece of essay, due to ChatGPT or Perplexity, and have the AI writing the essay. You can do that. That's the thing, I said to them. But this time it's going to be different. Make a folder in the Google Drive. Give me access to your folders. I'm going to send to you the references that you are going to use as the references of your life. By doing so, my students, of course, they cannot rely on ChatGPT, but of course, we can still get the benefit from the ChatGPT. The question is how? We use them to check the grammar, the spelling of your writing. One thing that ChatGPT or any artificial intelligence cannot replace us is the human touch. and then also the logical think of the listening and the sources that are original. Yeah, I think those are the things that I can share with you, Ferry, about the challenge that we're facing right now, not only as a lecturers, but I also speaking on behalf of myself as an English learner. Thank you. Would you like to add?
So yeah, well, no. And the reason that Parferi is asking that question is because ChatGPT programs. So he's worried about losing his job. He wants to know what the answer is he should give when someone says, "Why do we need programmers? We have ChatGPT." So I just want to build on your point about communication. If we all go down the route of AI, we'll all be the same. The point about communication is you're giving yourself. You are telling people who you are. And if you allow a computer to translate that, then you are going to lose some of your personality and some of your ability to communicate. So I can up my voice and I can go quiet and I can look at you and I can change these things. This is all about the art of communication. If you outsource that with a program, you lose your personality, and that's a really big shame. You also become equal with everybody else because they're all using that. And the third thing is, what about a calculator, right? We now all have calculators. Well, calculators can do the math. It doesn't mean maths is dead. Math hasn't stopped. Maths keeps going and going forward. And the point is, I think that what happens is that we use this. And if you really don't have choices, of course, I use Google Translate and I point to things at a very base level. It absolutely helps. And it takes a lot of the stress of doing things out. And you can use Google Maps in Thailand, and I can't speak any Thai. So, it takes a lot of stress out of that. But at the end level, if you want to differentiate yourself, if you want to be better, if you want to do better than someone else or other countries, if you want to get direct investment, you have to be better. And better means you have to be able to communicate better. And communication better does not mean using the same thing as everyone else.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your answer, sitting in the plenary, for the explanation of the challenges and solutions that we face as a English teacher, including the existence of technological tools. And for explanation, for how we should do it. Okay. Silakan.
Good morning, Mr. Leader. I apologize in advance for my poor English. My name is Muhammad Fadilhan. I'm from SMK Cyber Media. I'm currently doing an internship at University of IT support. I'd like to ask, we experiencing Gen Z really like playing games. As for me, games where we also like from this game. What I want to know is what the tools generation here related to this method. Thank you.
So thank you very well. First of all, well done, and thank you very much. I completely understand that. So my philosophy is a little bit old-fashioned, and my thinking is if you want to play games, then do it properly and go on PlayStation or go on games. If you want to learn English, then focus on learning English. So for me, it's about efficiency. Everything we do is about making our students study and improve their English language. If you play games, that can sometimes get lost, and it can sometimes take you down a path, and it can sometimes waste your time. So, as I said, for me, when I think about English, it's about time. It's about efficiency of learning. And sometimes that means we can't gamify. I don't really believe in gamification. When I think about what we do, if I think about a ship going forward, there are those people, the captains who are waving and it's smart and their games and they're beautiful and looks great. And then there's the engine room and it's dark and it's loud and it's greasy, but it's what makes the boat go forward. So my philosophy about learning is what makes the boat go forward. We'll do this quickly. It won't be great fun, but you'll do it. And then you've got plenty of time to play games and do that kind of thing properly. So my argument is we'll do a little bit of gamification where we can, but really we want to focus on learning, get you through your studies, then you can do what you want. It's mine. Old fashioned. Yeah. I'm old. Sorry.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Nigel. Questions? Okay. Ya, Bapak dua ya.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm very excited to be honored to speak in front of you, especially for Professor Siti. As a person graduated from language department as well, I was very excited when you explained about the correlation between language, technology, and entrepreneurship. Because when I was still university student, we just focus on learning about language, culture, and their history. We never studied about the correlation between language and entrepreneurship. So I want to ask you two main questions. The first is, since which semester are the students taught the correlation between Langtechpreneur? And the second is, what is your main strategy, or what are class activities given to students related to Langtechpreneur? Thank you.
Thank you. This question, please correct me if I'm wrong. But before I continue, we have I remind you that we have also Dr. Henry and Professor Wanihi here with us. Okay, this question was when the Langtechpreneur approach applied in the University of Lea since the first semester. So all students, no matter in what study programs they are, they must learn at least one foreign language, either English or Japanese. It is started from the first semester until the 8th semester. So at the end of the study at the University of Lea, they are expected to be able to communicate in either English or Japanese fluently. And then the second, what are the activities? I give you an example based on the entrepreneurship course. There is there is a lecturer here, so Professor Hasanuddin. One of the outcomes from the course is that at the end of their study, students will have to be able to develop, for example, English course, which is based on technology. Because nowadays we can see that there's a lot of English teachers who promote themselves individually. Okay? They can I don't know how to explain that, because there is an application where we can put our name there and then we can get some students based on that application. So that is the example how easy it is actually if you have those three skills: work with language, with foreign language, you know how to use technology, and we have the entrepreneurial mindset. I hope that answer your question anytime.
It's a good question. Here in Jakarta, work together with Nigel. The other area that I'm very interested in is this amazing introduction in English and the concept of power. That is the integration of the language learning plus entrepreneurship. Because in the past, my area is what we call behavioral competencies. And I've just been asked to develop behavioral competencies for entrepreneurship, innovation, digital transition in those areas. And I guess my question would be, you've got some of those factors staying in the air at the moment. Exactly the area I'm working on. And to what extent have you managed to integrate in the curriculum a combination of language and entrepreneurship? I see really English and working with Nigel as a vehicle for digital translation. So if you just talk about digital translation in theory, I teach it as a topic, then it's not really going to work. We need something transition with. And what better topic to do that with than English? So the ubiquitous need is quite apparent, and therefore it can work. So yes, that would be my question. How far have you got with integrating those concepts that you in your
Okay, thank you, David. Your question is how far we work with the integration of those three components in our curriculum. Okay. Maybe later on, if there is Maritara Mayanti, could help me with the answer to the question, because he is responsible for the curriculum integration. But of course, as director, I have to understand almost every detail about the process. Okay, so far we have 7 study programs. I don't think we have problem with the English curriculum and Japanese language curriculum. Okay, I believe that we have shown some, in Indonesia we say kelemahan, yeah, from our students from Japanese department. As I said earlier, that sometimes we don't have our students in Indonesia because they attending the students exchange program between Indonesia and Japan, and many of them doing the internship there. And after that, usually they come back to Japan and work there. In the Japanese study program and English language program, we have also some courses that make our students have to be able to use technology. If I'm not mistaken, one of them is web programming. Yeah. Okay. So we don't have any problem with English and Japanese program. But when we transfer into a university, and then we have 4 study programs: computer science, system information, business, digital, and visual communication design, I have to admit that it is not as easy as I thought. Okay? Because it depends on the intake of the students. It's different from the intake or the students who come to the University of India to study English and Japanese. They come here because they want to study how to design. They come here because they want to study how to do some programming. Meaning that we cannot guarantee that they have the level of English that we would like to have. So this is the challenge. That's why I'm very happy when I meet you and also Nigel, and I believe there is something that we can discuss about how we work on integrating this into our curriculum. We've done the work. Just like I explained earlier, students from the semester 1 until semester 8, they have to learn English or Japanese. And for the English language, at the end of the study year, they will have to reach 500, 550 score for TOEFL. And for Japanese, the minimum is N3. N3 for students majoring in computer science, system information, business digital, and visual communication design. I think I need to ask Professor Warner about this one. What do you think about our standard? Yes. Mhm.
Okay, the standard that for Tohoku University, the standard for students in the undergraduate school, if they're taking TOEFL, most of our undergraduate students is about 550.
Okay. The same with us.
However, I must tell you that Tohoku University has the 30% of the top #1 university students. So therefore, you're looking at a very small portion of the education system in Japan. It's very competitive for people to get into our university. If you're going into the graduate program, you have to have at least 800 on a TOEFL. Now, as far as the N3 will not get you into any college level classes, even in undergraduate. The N2 is what is ideal for that's the lowest level that you can usually get for going into Japanese college or undergraduate program. If you're going into the graduate program, you must have at least an N1 at Tohoku University, which is the highest level. And it takes a lot of work and effort, but I admire the fact that you do 8 semesters of the courses, because like I said, at my university, the only students that would do 8 semesters would be actually the English major students. But otherwise, all the other students who are required to take English will only take 3 semesters of English courses. That's all that they're required for their whole curriculum for them. So usually in the first year and a half, they take their English and then they don't study English after that. And some of those people, or many of them, they have an attrition level, and therefore, once they graduate, they'll most likely go into a Japanese company and probably use very little English in many cases. But those people who do continue to study English hard will be able to get up to those levels. So those are levels that are set for a high university. If you're going into a lower universities, yes, you can get into other universities with a 400 or 450 on TOEFL, even in America. And also in Japan, if you're going into there are a few low universities that will take an N3, but most require an N3.
Okay, thank you, Professor. And as I said earlier, that we are very optimistic, and I always believe that there will always room for development. So if N3, we have to increase the level.
Yes.
I think, I believe that we have to discuss.
I believe that you can do it. I believe you're just starting. Your school's only been in 25 years. And Tohoku University is 115 years old. And so, I mean, you're just in the beginning process. So I'm sure you will get there.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Before I select our next class, I'm going to ask you to Peter, to have us introduction. Okay. Um, so let's go. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Guna Maraja. I'm third semester student from English major. I'd like to ask Mr. Rachel. So you mentioned that you work in a company that provides online and offline learning, and you've shown us the traffic in China that grows significantly. So, otherwise, I didn't find it effective by learning online. So I frequently skipped my online class, sorry lectures. So, I'd like to ask you, how can I improve my English learning by doing online learning, and how to motivate myself? Thank you.
Well, first of all, you're in so good that your honesty comes through very clearly. So you're probably in trouble. So sorry about that. So look, it's the toughest question. The easy answer is that if so, the students that study with us will improve. There's no question. The question is, will they study with us? That's the big question. And our system is all about homework. It's doing homework, really. And the way that we've achieved success is that students have achieved success because they see themselves improving. And you're studying, you don't want to waste time. You don't want to waste time having spent 3-4 years at Lear and come out and still be B1 and then go into the world and have to carry on doing English. That's a waste. You want to basically get it done. That's how I kind of look at it, and that's how we kind of go about it. So the motivation that we use is, for every minute you spend on task, we will get your English level up faster than anything. Because you can, and I'm sorry, I'm going to get in trouble now, and my English is pretty good, so I'm going to get in trouble, but you can fall asleep in a class. You can fall asleep online, you can switch it off, you can not pay attention. On the app, you have to answer the questions. And if you leave the app for a minute, it says, are you still studying? And it's tracking this information, basically. So what we really say is, you need English. That, I think, is clear. You're here studying English. So why not get it done in the most efficient way you can get it done and then carry on? And I realize that's not a great answer, because there are people who are just demotivated and just won't do it. And so all we can do is show them the path. There's an expression in English, you can take a horse to water, but you can't force it to drink. So all we can do is we can tell you this is really good water. It tastes great and it's going to feel great. But ultimately, you have to decide whether you're going to drink it. And the reason that we work so well with teachers is because teachers can do that. They can say, come on, you're not studying, you should study, please do it. They can push you. And then if you don't do it, they can make you sit down and do it. And there's something to do. So it's a great combination. It's the hardest question in digital learning. If that was a question we could all answer, we'd all be fluent in, well, I'd be fluent in Bahasa Indonesia, and you're already very good in English, you'd be fluent in English. The motivation we give is students see their improvements. They know they need to improve. They want to improve. They can do it quickly. That's really the best way of doing it. But it's tough.
Okay, let's give applause. Okay, thank you very much.
It's always good to give applause when you tell people that you can fall asleep in lectures and you're in the university. It's always slightly complicated.
Okay, well, now I'm going to ask one of our audience questions from Ika.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ika. I'm one of the lecturers at the English department. And I have some questions for Mr. Warner. I'm interested in your research, and my questions are very simple. Why conjunctions? Why conjunctions? Why are you interested in conjunctions? And why I'm also interested in the theme you chose for your students. Why is it, if I'm not mistaken, it's about animal rights. And it's also for the post test, it's about, what is it? Could you please ring me a bell?
Yeah, the internet and social network.
Yeah, social network.
Yes,
Social
yes.
network. If I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Okay, so did you choose those two themes randomly, or there are some criteria that you follow in order to choose or select the themes for your students? Okay, those are my questions for Mr. Warner. And my next questions are for Mr. Danny. Okay, Mr. Danny, when it comes to police department, what comes in my mind is investigations and then crime. What do you think? I mean, does the police department have some kind of limitation when they deal with foreign people or when they have to conduct investigations with foreign people? I'm just curious about that experience and how the police department deal with that. And then my third question is for Mr. Nigel, and I'm sorry, from Class Digital, Bapak Henry. My question is, I really believe that you don't stop here, because when it comes to language and technology, it's all about innovation. It's all about improvement. My question is very simple as well. What's next? I mean, of course, you do your research and R&D, research and development. But so you really know what's happening nowadays, what's trending among our society. So I'm not questioning about what you do recently, currently, but my question is more about what is your future, what is it? What future forecast about what will you do related to language and technology that will, in your opinion, will revolutionize human conditions or the people worldwide? Thank you. That's all my questions.
Okay, anyone else?
So I'll answer your question first. First of all, why did I choose conjunctions? The reason I chose conjunctions is because conjunctions have a way of giving a hint, or they're like a marker. And markers in other languages tell what the topic is, what the verb is. Well, conjunctions do about the same thing in English. They tell when we actually are having additional information, or when you're doing a comparison, or when you're trying to emphasize one point or another point. These really make writing fluent, efficient and understandable. And it's much more, the flow moves very smooth. The flow moves very smoothly. So to try and teach students to write and have a smooth flow in their essays and organization and do a logical, well-written essay is what we try to do at our school. The why did I choose the questions? Because I've been teaching at Tohoku University for 20 years. I've been teaching English in Japan for 40 years. Based on what areas the students have the knowledge, that I can give them some topic that I can expect that they can answer within 1 hour and write as much as possible. This is what I base that on. And I have given some difficult themes and gotten very short essays, and I try to avoid that area where I have to teach the knowledge of that area before I expect them to be able to write an essay. So those are the reasons I chose the essays that I have. So the main
conjunctions is because we believe that the proper use of conjunctions and stuff will build up better academic writing. And that's what we try to do at our university. We try to build up academic writing from the undergraduate level to the graduate school. I also taught academic writing courses for the graduate students in the master's and doctor's program for all the students in that program. And then once they move up to professors or teachers, then they can actually excel. And it's because of those reasons that it's only in the last 4 years that the Hoka University has achieved the first place in Japan for academic writing of faculty and students. Okay.
Okay, thank you. So now,
yeah, thank you for the questions. I will try to answer the question. If foreigners or expatriate or foreign athletes, they are in Indonesia, if they committed the crime, Indonesian criminal law is applied for them. Thank you.
thank you very much. The last is
There was one more because people asked 3 questions and I've got the last one. And that's Brian Henry. Do you want me to do it? Right. So it was a really simple question. It was, how are we going to change the world? So I should be able to answer it in 10 seconds or 15 seconds, I think. No, seriously though, so in terms of technology, so the world that I work in technology is about scale. And I think the biggest problems that we've got in scale terms are how do we teach speaking? So that's something where so chatbots will be able to help. You'll be able to have a conversation very cheaply, you know, from rural Indonesia or rural Sudan or somewhere. You'll be able to have a chatbot that will give you a conversation. So we can at least help you a little bit with speaking coming forward. The other thing is content creation. And actually, it was interesting we should talk about this because I think it's an interesting project where actually, in order to learn English, the content should be super local. I was in outside Ho Chi Minh City 2 weeks ago in a rural school, looking at a St. Gage textbook, which had a chapter on polar bears. And I was thinking, are any of these students going to practice English? The pictures are beautiful, by the way, really lovely. But how is anyone going to practice their English when talking about polar bears? So I think what ChatGPT is going to allow us to do is going to be able to create really local content really efficiently and really well. And that will allow students to feel much more engaged in what they're doing. And an example of what we're doing. So women and girls education is the biggest education problem in the world by far. Not so much in Indonesia, but in other countries, it's a huge problem. And we will not be able to educate women and children unless we can do it in the homes, unless we can do it digitally, because in many countries they can't get out. So what we want to do is we want to use AI to enable us to give them the chances that they would have had if they could go to class. So I said we're working with Afghan girls. So that idea of having a chatbot talking to you, you can talk quietly, no one knows. Having a content which is actually related to what you will be able to do with it around you, because you won't be able to buy a Starbucks in New York. So there's not much point in teaching you how to order a Starbucks in New York. I think it's that localization and that ability to improve speaking. Those are probably the 2 things that come first. But fundamentally, learning is really the same as it has been for 300 years. You know, it's practicing. All we're trying to do is improve the way that we do the basics. And that's where I think AI can help. But it's still going to be the basics. It's still the same style. But
Henry. Because the community say that the time is
we've cut by Henry off.
Just all right, thank you very much. It is a challenging questions for us, and we also
try to keep it motivated how we're going to improve our applications and the features. Because our commitment with our founders and co-founders, we believe once we step into this project, it's a lifetime project and it's our baby actually. But looking at the chat GPT, like you said, there are certain things in the academic worlds. Maybe probably I have to move a bit further from the language perspective because my major is actually in economic and marketing. But however, the chat GPT still cannot replace the way of the academic writing. Like the process, the chat GPT are giving informations, raw informations based on the data, the internet base. However, in the academic writing, we have the inductive process, we have the deductive process in creating a background. So those kind of types of learning academic writing is still not compatible with the ChatGPT giving us. ChatGPT is only giving us the raw information. At the end, we ourselves have to put it in the academic literature ways. Like when you are making a critical literature review, you must have a pattern that ChatGPT also cannot provide that. ChatGPT might give you informations, but at the end, the system, the scientific thinking that we have built in the education process force us to still have to work by our own, you know. Even though like if we're having a statistic output coming up, ChatGPT cannot make a conclusion or synthesize your output from the findings from the statistics. So I still believe that we are still in the early stage of a ChatGPT right now. But however, academic writing and scientific thinking, what like Socrates said, still cannot be provided by ChatGPT because ChatGPT is just a very open and information gathering, but without structures. While we are making an academic writing, so it has to be structured with different approach like inductivity, deductive reasoning, and then you know how to make a summary of the literature reviews. Some of the ChatGPT still haven't provided that. So if you're really trying to make a dissertation or thesis based on the ChatGPT, once a supervisor will know it at once. No, this is just a ChatGPT. It's easy. It's easy to make some assumptions that this is not really a scientific reading, a scientific writing. I think that's all I can do. Thank you very much. But sorry. Yeah, looking forward. No, I mean, yeah. Okay. It's done, yeah.
Short one.
Okay, this is a short one. Okay, yeah. Then we can show you that we are doing well moving forward. We see ChatGPT as the beginning. Then we see the furthers, and that's what we want to catch. So we'll start to think out of the box. What we want when it sees coming, we don't have to react honestly, but we have to answer things. What are the advantage and disadvantage for this? So it's just in the early stage. There are possibilities to move forward for new innovations. So we don't have to worry about that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Very sorry for exceeding the time notes, but it's what we're discussing is now I'm going to select audience that ask questions. So I've got reward from so first of all, I'm going to send this first reward to the participants with questions asked to speakers. So you can guess who. We got okay, nice. The second gift. Okay. So this person is student. So I can guess. But this student ask questions. Second guess. Yeah. We are the class. Okay. The last will be for the audience outside of yeah. So, saya akan berikan, I'm going to give the last gift to siapa? Oh, Pak Adnan, Pak Adnan. Oke, Pak Adnan. Oke, ini bos. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for you know participating on this international conference. So my name is Kumar Sendal as a moderator. So I asked for forgiveness of there's a mistake during the session of the moderator. For the next session is and it will be moved to the oh okay so the next session so now I'm going to um yeah see
Thank you, Mr. Komara. Once again, please give applause to our amazing keynote speakers. Before we move to the next session, ladies and gentlemen, please do not hesitate to have some drink. We have some coffee or tea, and it is provided in the back of this room, in the corner of this room. And also, we come to the special moments in our event, that is the signing of the memorandum of understanding between the University of Law and the Berkeley University. We are delighted to celebrate our commitment to partnership. I would like to invite Associate Professor Dr. Siti Hubert Parameswari MD from the University of Law, Associate Professor Dr. Peter John Younger from the Berkeley University, and Associate Professor Suyanto from Tangku Adang University. Please come to the stage and sign the memorandum of understanding. Yes, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, consider what you like this virtual event. The overview was signed before this event in regards to their ceremony between the University of Law and the University of Pendidikan. Sekolah Tinggi Ekonomi dan Bisnis Islam Al-Musi Yogyakarta, Universitas Berisi Al-Arabian Indonesia, University of Amal Imam Yafis Lamina, Center of Young Scientists, Pusat Studi Jepang University of Indonesia, Kajian Wilayah Jepang, Sekolah Kajian Strategik dan Global, Yayasan Tumbuh Ilmu, Sekolah Tinggi Ilmu Ekonomi Dunia Pesana, Sekolah Tinggi Ilmu Tarbiyah Insan Kamil Bogor, Sekolah Tinggi Ilmu Tarbiyah Al-Hairiyah Mamuju, Sekolah Tinggi Ilmu Tarbiyah Sunan Giri, Baca Sarjana Agama Islam Al-Furqan Makassar. Ladies and gentlemen, to certificate holder. It is my pleasure to invite Rector, Associate Professor Dr. Siti Nubar Harimasar MPD, and Ismail Paramana PhD, Ms. Kempere, to present the certificate to our keynote speaker, Associate Professor Dr. Siti Nubar Harimasari MPD. Thank you, Ms. Ilhari Paramana PhD, and Attention State. And for Professor Siti Nubar, the present the certificates to our keynote speakers. And now I would like to invite our keynote speakers, Associate Professor Dr. Stephen Jerry Renal from Liverpool University, Henry Mattheson MSc from Kelas Digital, Kombes Pol dan Herman Astika Arifan from Sekolah Bahasa Kairi, and Mr. Majid from English. Please come to the stage. To receive the certificate, which will be handed over by the Director of the University of Law. Thank you. The main session There will be a platform review which will be handed over by our people to the University of Finland and otherwise. Associate Professor Dr. Siti Nasari, please come forward. Once again, thank you very much. We'd like to say thank you for our amazing keynote speakers for making this conference a success. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. The next session will be a break for tea and lunch. And lunch will be served in our room. Our lesson break is still have a session that is online for our session, which will be moderated by Mr. Nancy Wahid on home. This will resume the event after the break. Have a pleasant break and see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.